Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Listen here, this is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict, I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we living in. Somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant, stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you could never speak for black folks. Fake ass candidate, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye, we don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and know it go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk, bitch. You ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, they get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the 7-millimeter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy because man makes them strong. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world.
Greetings, Black family. Greetings. We're running about an hour or so late. Just came from my homeboy Sabs and several other Denver Legends show at the Roxy. So greetings, Shabaka. Thank you for
Hey, what's going on?
Lady Tay's gonna hold it down for a sec. So I'm gonna do the introduction and then I'll play the first video. Lady Tay gonna hold it down. I gotta go.
Okay, I can.
Get my
Okay,
line.
and I can give you about an hour and a half tonight because I got an appointment tomorrow. Plus, that my damn car broke down.
Oh no, Shabaka.
Oh no.
Yeah. The transmission is all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And because it slipped out of gear, and I can't get it back in gear. So that's the transmission.
Damn. All right, let me get the intro out, Shabaka. So, thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of the Front Line Blacc News. This is season 5, episode 10, part 2 of the Front Line Blacc News. And we'll be discussing the topics we didn't get to in part 2, or excuse me, part 1. But this is part 2. Latina says she's tired of mass deportations after ICE roundup of illegal immigrants at job sites.
Okay.
Man asks why Blaccs is the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
Is Myron Gaines still a Fed? Is Myron Gaines still a federal agent? Right. Then Sista who traveled to the the Dominican Republic had people feeling sorry for Americans. Sista says says people are hating because we're struggling to pay for food while she eats for free on EBT.
Yeah.
We got to update Trump's stance on South Africa, or Zania, as Shabaka calls it, the original name, has been debunked. Then Julius Malema fires back at Trump, the dump as a human shit, and we want to make that perfectly clear for twisting the EFF footage. Then General Langley, that's the House Negro raccoon. He's a 4-star general, right? Says AFRICOM is there to bring peace to the youth of Africa, which is a damn lie. America has no peace. Then cop claims the FBI is suspicious for pulling over when the race soldier got behind them. And then last turning to peace, we got new levels of SIMPERY from Travis Hunter. So those are the topics. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to Frontline Blacc News. Let me you up. While I'm doing that, Shabaka, say whatever it is you want to say. Or Lady Tay, go ahead, Lady Tay. Wait, the mic. We'll pass you the mic.
Okay, I got to step down to my car for a second. Go right ahead. I got the Bluetooth on, so I'm going to go out of range and come back in.
I got to untangle this.
Okay. I'm in my little whip and I hurt myself. Always hurting myself.
Yeah, sit here, baby. You have to get off the chair and sit right now.
Okay. Alright. I like sitting there.
It's just gonna be temporary. Hold on, y'all. I gotta find this cue. Where is it? Let's see.
I hurt myself.
Hold on, Shabaka. I gotta find this cue.
Hold on, let me give an update real quick.
Oh, good. Go ahead, let's say.
Okay, real fast. The RVA will be coming on sometime this week. Between now and tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon or something. Probably do an afternoon show. Depends if I get all my stuff done. We're gonna go into more of it covering the Diddy trial. So, gotta catch you up. And everything else has been cool. We had a little bit of fun. I forgot all that people, some of their music, but it was fun.
Rap old shoes.
There was a lot of motherfucking Hispanics there.
Yeah, a lot of SS.
I swear, like, I was playing a nice, they treated me well. You know what I mean? Everywhere I go, I get treated well. It's pretty decent. And I was just mad that everybody kept bumping into me, like,
yeah, that shit was
big
pissing me off too.
Bitches, and there's all kind of weird scents and shit in there.
Yeah.
Like dirty stuff. You know what I mean? And I know it wasn't us because, like, we, black people bathe.
Right.
Heavily.
And we wear deodorant.
Like a lot of deodorant. You know what I mean? So I don't wear perfumes because they don't stick to my skin. I wear oils. But I like right before, like we bathe, like really bathe.
Right.
Like it's not a game,
Not a game.
And then you got motherfuckers it's just like, oh my god, like it was just hot. Everybody, big ass bitches sitting on my arm and shit. I'm like, can you get up off my shit, cuz? Like, let me drunk, like everybody's lovey-dovey and drunk and pushing into each other. I was like, if we didn't stay for Deuce Mall, but my thing was this, like, if I stood in there another 20 more minutes, I was gonna have the migraine of the century. Only because of the scents. And so many weird fucking scents. Like, I feel like I want to burn my hoodie. I actually had a blouse on, so I put the hoodie on because it was rainy. It was pouring where I was at. Yeah. And it's been nice. It was a nice little creeping on the inside.
Yeah, it was. I hadn't been in there in a minute.
The Roxy was cool. I had to get out of there before everybody else gets out of there. And motherfuckers like to bomb rush the door.
Yeah.
Everybody was asking me if I wanted something or needed something, but I was like, I got a whole dude. So I just would take a water, from the security. Because I think it's bad form. You go with somebody and they're up there filming or whatever, and it's bad form for other people to buy you, like, men.
Yeah.
Buy you drinks and shit when you're there with somebody. It's bad form.
Yeah.
And I'm not that. So Jesse's gonna run real quick to handle this little thing. Shabaka, I'm so happy to hear from you, man. I'm so happy you're back. I was on here briefly last night, but I don't got no internet at the crib anymore right now because it's they keep raising the prices.
Shit. Yeah, it's a whole lot of crazy shit.
But I was happy to see you back, and I had a rec happen.
What up, Sabo?
So it was fun. Anyway, Jessica, go ahead real quick before.
Sab's on the line.
Thank you, Sab, thank you for having us. We had fun. I had to get out of there before. Yeah, no, thank you for having us. We went at your lady on the way out. I had to get out because of the chair. I didn't want to get trampled. Yeah, we had fun. You did good.
Yeah.
You filmed the whole thing. Yeah, we filmed the whole thing. And I watched too.
Yeah, Jay was watching. Jay Millie.
Jay Militant? Yeah, he was with us there last night, I think.
Yeah, I live streamed the concerts about it.
No. We saw you on the way out. You were taking pictures and we just waved at you. But
okay.
My shoes out of order.
No, man, they treated us good.
But we'll bear with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, they treated us well there. So.
Yeah, they did.
No, thank you for having us.
It was like an East Side reunion.
I will be in touch. Get some rest. Thank you. You guys did good.
Yes, y'all did. Y'all rocked the damn house.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna go because I'm live right now.
Okay, so go ahead. Me and Shabaka can hold it down. Say no. This ain't our first.
So So I'm gonna ad-lib with you later, check, because I didn't have time to write down on notes because I went to the store earlier this evening. Then this fucking car, you know, was messing up.
I'll be with Jesse for most of the night. Tomorrow I got a whole bunch of. I gotta get this whole bunch of stuff done that they're making. You know, they only make black people do hoops and loops. You know.
Yeah.
For your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm on a black grind to get all my shit together.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Few minutes. So the first video is from Uncle Phil. It's about the Latina. Says she's tired of mass deportations after ICE roundup of illegal immigrants at job sites.
Welcome to AfroWire, where intelligence meets identity, where Black culture powers the algorithm, not just the
Oh, that's the
playlist.
sister from Azania.
AI-driven news network created with you in mind. Our community who demand truth, context, and cultural intelligence without the filter. At AfroWire, we don't just deliver news, we decode it. Every headline, every story, every voice, filtered through our experience, our values, and our legacy. No more watered-down coverage. No more waiting for someone else to tell our stories right. The future of Black media is autonomous, intelligent, and unapologetically Black. Powered by AI, rooted in our culture, welcome to the evolution of information. Welcome to AfroWire AI.
You know, a lot of people, they talked about Black and brown.
but I popped in.
And for a long time, a lot of our civil rights leaders, activists, always said Black and brown, Black and brown. Black people have said Black and brown like religion, literally. And we always said, hey, man, if we get together, Blacks and Latinos get together, it's more of us in this country than the white people. We could join together, man. We could run this country. And a lot of people, some agreed with Black and brown in the Latino community.
No, we don't.
But the majority did not.
Correct.
The majority wanted to have a proximity to whiteness. And then we had preached to them that, hey, you will never be white to these people. You're too dark. They only like themselves.
Be white anyway, man.
But then
Shit,
some of them would use
111
anti-Black slurs.
today, man.
Some of them would, join the Proud Boys and things like that, right?
Me and Jesse have been
The people like the Nick Fuentes of the world. People like that. Well, we warned forever as FBAs to all these groups, not just one group, all these groups, that hey, the white supremacist is not your friend. Hey, they don't like you either. They gaslight you. They're deceiving you. That's what they do. They lie. They cheat.
Hell, I've been saying that.
That's just what they do. Like, why are you sitting here siding with them against us? And what did we do to you? We didn't do you nothing. We haven't done nothing to you as a collective. The white supremacists that went to Latin America, stole your resources, have your countries dilapidated, got your leaders corrupt. The reason why you have to immigrate up here to America, and yet you still want to be cool with those people? Yet the FBAs have never did that to you?
They were going to tell me to stop.
Now it comes full circle when the Trump administration get in office, and some of them even voted for Trump. You would think, because Trump told you what he was going to do, he didn't lie what he said he was going to do, and yet a lot of them still voted for Trump anyway. Well, case in point, I want you to watch this video from this lady here.
Like, how are you guys handling this? Because I can't. Like, they are hunting us down like animals. Like, and are you okay with this? Just because we look this way? Just because of our names? Like, what? I'm so angry. Like, there is so much rage watching those videos of raids in construction sites, like on the street, and by Proud Boys, by white supremacists. They're hunting us down. Because we look this way? Because we speak this way? Because we
That's how people felt being lynched. Think of Emmett Till.
I don't understand how people are still defending this man.
Think of Rodney King.
Like, I don't get it. Make me understand. Because I can't. I cannot wrap my head around
perfectly.
you hunting people down because they look the way they look. Like, what?
Well, ma'am, I have to correct you on something. They're not coming after you because of the way you look, because there's plenty of people in your community that they're not bothering because they were born here, they were citizens, and so they're not an illegal immigrant. During the Biden administration, there were many people from Latin America came here, and they're here illegally, and they was here illegally before Biden got in office. So Trump and Tom Homan and them is cracking down on illegal immigration. And of course, a lot of the illegal immigrants in this country, more of them would be, from Latin America, because Latin America's connected here. I mean, you're not going to have as many African illegal immigrants or Caribbean illegal immigrants or any immigrant that's kind of outside, like that. You're not going to have as many like it would be people from Latin America. So it seemed like, yeah, he's targeting more Latin American people. So it's not how you look, it's your status. That's number one. Number two. You say, how can people sit by and just watch this happen?
She was like making faces.
The question is, two questions. One, how could your community sit by and watch that happen? We looked at the voter numbers from your community, ma'am. And matter of fact, let me go ahead on and pull that up while I'm thinking about it, because I keep this on my computer. Let me go ahead on and see if I can pull that up real quick. Oh, there we go. Okay. So ma'am, if just a reminder, okay? When it came to your community voted 46% for Donald Trump. And then y'all did vote 51% for Kamala. But if you come down here and you go by down here and we go to Latinos, 54% of your men voted for Donald Trump. And then, of course, more than women voted for Kamala, but 39%. Trump promised to do mass deportations that would affect your community way more than anybody else. You would have thought that y'all have been voting 75 to 80, 90%, the men and women, for Kamala Harris. So if you really want to get it, like if you want to keep it 100, okay? Y'all are part of the reason why Donald Trump's in office. We know how white people vote. They always vote this way. This is nothing new. But if you look at how black people, even black men who were very disappointed in the Democrat Party, right? 77% of black men, and then 92%, we hear them say 92%. But even black men voted, way more than the men in your community, right? So you have to take responsibility for what's happening with the Trump administration, because your community voted. Now you may say, well, no, it's them Cubans and this is, listen, bottom line is your community voted for him. Yep. So you probably need to deal with the people in your community. Listen, in the future, if a politician say they're going to target you, you probably need to listen to them. Now, let's go to number two. You say, how can people sit down and watch this happen? Okay. Remember in the beginning, we was talking about black and brown. Okay. If y'all would have took up the FBA community's offer, and we was actually literally begging y'all, that I can remember ever since I've been alive, begging y'all to have this black and brown coalition, you didn't want it. So now that you need, you'd be good to have FBAs on your side. FBAs are kind of like, yeah, we kind of chilling right now, because we saw, you have to understand, the reason why FBAs is extremely delineating is because even the Democrats, you have to understand, the Democrats that believed in black and brown, The Democrats saw those numbers we just showed you on the screen, and they were like, you know what? I ain't dealing with none of them no more. I heard those people say, Latinos let us down. We know white women always let us down. Asians, all these other groups say, I don't want to hear it no more. I'm only worrying about black people. I'm only fighting for black people. We're delineating, okay? That was the last group of black people that was on this minority coalition, people of color, and y'all pushed them away. So this is the consequences of not accepting the offer of FBAs when they actually wanted a coalition with you. Not a, you know, that coalition card. Them days are done. I mean, we delineated, so we're not trying to ally with no group right now. None. Okay. Them offers to unify are done. If we're gonna unify, we unify within our own community. You know, we'll you know, work with our cousins in the diaspora as long as they're acting right. We'll unify with them. But on these other groups right now, the Asians, we say, hey, let's join together, man. You know, I mean, shoot, let's work with each other. You didn't want to do that, you know, as a collective. You didn't want to do it. So when Trump come after you or whatever, don't look this way. Like FBA is like, what's going on? Like look what they doing. Like, we offered our help. We say, let's get together. Let's work together. You didn't want it. You wanted to be with the white people. And because you wanted to be with them, now you with them. You see how that works? All y'all other groups always find out the hard way. What, you know, FBAs have been enslaved in this country. We were on plantations for 250 plus years. Nobody knows these people like FBAs do. Nope. You come in this country and talking to the people that has the PhD on these people and trying to tell us that we don't know nothing about them. We don't know anything. Yeah. So we be like, all right. You know what you're doing, right? Okay, all right. And then you find out, then you're like, oh, FBAs, y'all were right. Yeah, we don't want to hear that now. We good. Carry on doing what you was already doing over there with them folks you want to be over there with. You see? So life lesson is this. Next time, if and I don't know if this will ever happen, but right now it's indefinitely suspended. But if FBAs were to ever say, hey, let's unify, you better be the first one to jump on it. Right. You better jump on it quick. Yep. I don't see it happening for a long time because I feel that that's been indefinitely suspended. I love the same, you know, until further notice. But if you ever are offered an olive branch and say, hey, let's join, well, then next time you'll join. Because trying to be on a team with them folks, they always gonna backstab you. Trust me, we as Black FBAs, we tried to be on the team with them. Whatever happened to Fo and Home. And they proven time and time again they're not loyal, they're not a friend, they're not trying to work with nobody. All they care about is themselves. They care about power. They care about money. No. And they're gonna screw over whoever they gotta screw over to get it. Not collectively. They're not worried. They don't. It don't matter how much of a friend you are to them. It don't matter if you're the biggest anti-black racist for them. They still gonna turn on you. And that's what's hurting a lot of you. A lot of you said all this mess about FBAs. All the blacks, this, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks. But it's the blacks rounding you up at job sites. It's the blacks grabbing your kids and putting them in jail. They said he dressed. It's the blacks putting you on planes. And trying to walk like no, it's not the blacks. Mm-hmm. It's the whites. That's the ones you want to be with. A lot of you in your community, you want to get with a white person so you could, make the race better. Get some more white skin in your race. You know, that's it. You know good and well that's going on in Latin America. The same people that you want to whiten yourself up to fix your rate. What's wrong with your color? There's nothing wrong with Latino's color. Nothing wrong with it. The darker you are, the better, right? But that's that silliness that some of you have. You know, you can say self-hate. Some of you can say that. But
yeah, darker the berry, the sweeter.
I'm just saying, oh look, you know, hey, we cool. Our coalitions are indefinitely suspended until further notice. I will say that. So hope it works out for y'all. Those of you who are sick of it, you know, we can pray for you. We can do that much. We definitely pray for you and hope it works out for the best. But
we got some individual ones.
Yeah, we getting them Carnival Cruises playing and you know, going to do boots on the ground and just it's summertime. We're having a good time. So, you know, I don't know what to say about that. But remember, y'all did vote for the dude and he promised to target you.
Yep.
I don't think
what you voted for.
I couldn't vote for somebody that say they was going to target me. I couldn't do it or target my community. Like, you think if he said, and I get in office, black people, I'm going to do this to black people. I'm going to lock black people up. I'm going to put charges on them. I'm going to do this. Like, ain't no black people voted for that. I wouldn't have.
Said the way he put it up there,
ain't no way.
You know, was
so
that,
y'all voted for a dude to say he was coming after y'all. So you got to deal with those consequences.
Biden already did that. You see? See what I'm saying?
Sorry. Oh yeah, hell with Biden. The hell with Sleepy Jim Crow Biden.
Yeah, but just like what you said though, Jesse, it was Biden, man, the main one that led the mass incarceration of black people, man, with his federal crime bill.
Every crime bill since 1972.
Exactly.
That was Biden's law.
Now let's look at something. 1972, 1976, 1980. Now, 1972, okay, is when the black empowerment era had started eroding, okay, from outside forces, okay. With
that's when it was started to decline. So
yes, okay.
To 72.
Yeah, that's when the start is, because see what had happened was it was those black exploitation films. You say, now the paradox of the black exploitation films, okay, and of course we know what a paradox is. A paradox is a contradiction that is true. In other words, okay, the black exploitation film saved Hollywood. But look at the negative imagery that it projected of us as people and how that they influenced the youth for the next 3 or 4 generations after that.
That though, irregardless, that saved Hollywood. Hollywood was in the dumps.
Yeah, exactly, it was. You see, because actually Hollywood, man, had started declining, man, like in the 1960s and what happened, because in the 50s, wait a minute. Okay, I'm trying to remember that golden age. Okay, Hollywood's golden age, man, was definitely
like Ben-Hur.
Right, that's the 1950s, the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments. What is that other movie? The Wonderful Life or A Wonderful World, or what is that shit called? The Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, because the 40s and the 50s was Hollywood's golden age. You see what I mean? Now, you got to keep in mind about something. This is all pre the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
That's when y'all 40th president was acting.
Exactly, with his no acting ass. And the motherfucker was a Class B ass actor, too. He wasn't shit as an actor.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, and then the bastard became the governor of California in 1966. Okay. And then he had went after a certain organization that originated in Oakland that had chapters everywhere, so we ain't got to mention their name. Now, so what had happened is that these black politicians, okay, at that time was talking about this all-inclusion shit, like Uncle Phil was saying.
So break it down. What were the Latinos doing at this time?
At this time in history?
Yes.
Okay, they was having a culture, but they were impersonating our culture.
Yeah, because they try to claim that zoot suits. They try to claim the car culture.
Right. Now, as I said before, a few weeks back, is that we would like to do a story on the Sleepy Lagoon murder case of 1942. Okay, where the Zoot Suiters, which was the Latinos out of East LA, okay, they were going back and forth with the United States Navy, is because, like I told you, is where those damn Navy sailors went and took this Latino woman and raped her on the goddamn street corner. Damn. Raped her on a fucking street corner, and I believe the corner is 6th and Los Angeles Street. So I would like to reach out to some of the elders there who would have that knowledge. But you might could pull up the Sleepy Lagoon murder case.
We might have to go on that, Shabaka, on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. But what I was alluding to was during that time, weren't they standing on the side when they wasn't trying to appropriate our stuff? Wasn't they sitting on the sidelines during the civil rights and black empowerment era until they got some benefit from it?
Yes, sir. And what had happened was you had this guy by the name of Cesar Chavez, okay, who was an advocate for the United Farm Workers. So what the Black Panther Party did is that they had backed Cesar Chavez, and they had a boycott on grapes in California that they tried to get to go throughout the whole country, is because most of the, you heard that old saying, the Napa Valley grapevine and Napa Valley wine, because they need the grapes to make the wine. And going up there through that country, man, you'll see those grape vineyards, man, for acres and acres and acres. You see what I mean? So the black community was asked by the Latino community, and a lot of us did boycott grapes, is because of how they was treating the migrant workers, and that there is where Cesar Chavez came at, and the Black Panther Party did support Cesar Chavez's so
that was the last boycott. So would you say that was the last hope for any kind of black and brown coalition or unity?
Yes, sir. And then what had happened was what pulverized this coalition, of course, as we know, was the crack epidemic.
Okay.
See, and that crack epidemic.
Let's see. They didn't get involved in it until they changed the language to include minorities.
Right.
Because the civil rights of 1964 was social specifically for FBAs. It wasn't for all these other groups.
Right. Okay. That there. Let me see. 1964. Wait a minute. Yeah, that was the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Yeah, and that was specifically for Black Americans. That wasn't for no other group.
Yeah. Right. And then, of course, the NOI had their problems with Malcolm at that time. Then, of course, Ali became heavyweight champ.
Yeah.
And then what Ali's influence was is because Ali, as influential as he was, is because you have to remember the people paid to see him lose. You see, and when I mean the people, I'm talking about the majority of other groups paid to see Ali lose. You see, we always wanted him to win. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times, Ali had his fights on regular television when he became the champion the second time, so the people could see him fight. And I remember that very well. And then when he was fighting, defending the title on TV, the streets were vacant. Just like the elders before my time would say the same thing, like when Joe Lewis was fighting in the 30s and 40s, the streets were vacant because everybody was listening to the fight on the radio.
You experienced a lot of racism in the North.
There was a lot of what?
Racism in the North that he had to experience.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. You had a whole lot of racism in the North. Okay. Particularly places like Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, New York City, Philadelphia, Newark, New Jersey. You see, which is Mad Dr. D's neck of the woods where he came out at. Then, of course, in Oakland, California, and of course, what started right there. And what it is that white America did not want to see black people being armed and organized. You see, that's what Kwame Ture was saying at that time: organize, organize, organize. You see, and they didn't want us to be organized. So what they would do, they would get these coons and coonettes, who will go out here and be used as pawns to shatter our cohesiveness. You see? And they're repeating the same cycle today.
Yeah. So how do you feel this about him? Knowing that history and having that experience with them over the decades, do you feel anything for them mugs getting mass deported right now by ICE?
No, I don't. Okay, for two reasons. The first reason is that everybody wants to appropriate quote unquote black culture, but hate the people of the culture. Number one. Two is the dumpster is the dump, you know what I'm saying? So he's sinister. Dude is a 35 convicted felon talking about reopening up Alcatraz, and he should be the first motherfucker that's booked in there. You see what I mean? But he's got the juice as the president. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, they have fueled division within the black community. You see, in Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, New York, keep us divided within ourselves.
Yeah.
You see, it's because, to quote the words of Admiral Yamamoto of the Japanese Imperial Navy, when they bombed Pearl Harbor, he said to his subordinates and what have you, we just awakened a sleeping giant. Now, the cool part about it is that we are that sleeping giant in these contemporary times. But however, we got to change on our brain in the same manner as that how the little people had saw Gulliver and they tied him up and nailed him down to the ground. That's what they do to our fucking minds in these contemporary times.
That, and they allowed all these goddamn tethers to flood the country.
Oh, yes, sir. And then I've been arguing with assholes on Facebook again. So what I went on and did was delete and block, because this stinking bastard gonna tell me, well, you know, it's your own people that sold yourself into slavery. Biggest goddamn lie that ever was told is because the Europeans, just like what they did with the indigenous people here of the continent of North and South America, was the white man's main thing: divide and conquer.
Shabaka, not the peasantry, not the common folk. It wasn't them. It was the rulers, the monarchs of those kingdoms that was complicit with them raping, slaving, pedophiles.
Okay, see, but they got bullshitted too. It's because as the slave trade grew, just like, you know, and you heard me read and Mr. Lerone Bennett proved it to cite the source, as that they came with lies, deceit, alcohol, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, they got them divided, and then they start hauling them off, you know what I mean? And I think that there's what Gory Island was all about. And the ones that did the quote unquote selling, because I was arguing with an ignorant bastard on Facebook with this here today, the ones that did the selling were kidnapped as well too.
Yeah, but either way, even though they was kidnapped, Shabaka, they were still complicit with the shit. They still went along with it.
Okay, but that's just it though. They were deceived in doing so, Brother Chad.
Either way, them being deceived or not, they still was active participants in it. I'm talking about I'm not talking about the common folk.
Right, but you have to understand. Okay, now the thing is that you have to understand. This is why I'm, you know, digging in more and more research into Brother Ibrahim Traore. Is because he's been commenting on that type of stuff. You see what I mean? Is because, to quote the words of Bishop Desmond Tutu when he was alive in Azania, in the beginning. Huh?
Desmond Tutu, he was with the former UN ambassador.
Okay, I can't recall, but I remember him off in the 90s, because I think he transitioned, man, shortly before Mandela did. Okay, I'm talking about Nelson. Okay, now, he had made the statement that in the beginning, We had the land, and the European had the Bible. We bowed our head.
Nelson was a turncoat. Nelson lost his revolutionary spirit in prison.
Yeah, well, see, that's why Namzamo divorced him.
Yeah, that's why Winnie, otherwise known as Winnie Mandela, divorced him.
Yeah, Namzamo. And this is why that they had suppressed a lot of the knowledge that Myron Makeba was dropping at that time too, is because you do know that Myron Makeba one time was the wife of Kwame Ture.
Yes, remember, Shabaka, my father's mentor was Kwame Ture.
Okay, I saw Kwame Ture speak in 1974. No, 1973.
In L.A.?
No, up in the Bay Area, up at Cal State Hayward.
Oh, at Cal State?
Yeah, Hayward, and Hayward is a city south of Oakland.
Yeah, that's the North Bay. Or the South Bay, North Bay.
Yeah, actually it's in the East Bay.
East Bay, that's what I meant. Yeah, the East Bay.
Yeah, it's in the East Bay. Okay, now, from what I understand, off of other research I did on Sister Mary, is that she was banned. Wait a minute, she was banned from South Africa for a long time, but then when she went back to South Africa, they refused to let her out of the country. Yeah, because she was too influential. Okay.
Did you have thoughts on them getting deported? LA is sort of struggling. All right, I got to move us along, Shabaka. The next topic. Mexican man asks why Blaccs, meaning FBAs, use the N-word.
He asked, why do we use the N-word?
Yeah, he asked, why do we?
Answer. Okay, answer. Because of the plantation system. See, you have to understand that. You see, Brother Che, you have to understand, just like how you did a show a while back.
We got my bad, cuz. Salute. I hope you enjoyed the show. Cuz said he was smoking on some kush while we was jamming.
Who is this?
Jay Millie.
Oh, Jay Militant. Oh, okay. What's up, Jay Militant? Hey, man, they got them self-driving Google cars in Las Vegas, man. And they call them driverless vehicles now. They call them driverless vehicles,
So we're done going over the deportations. Now we're moving on to why these OTBs, these Latinos, think it's okay to say nigga, or they asked us why we say nigga in the first place.
Okay, well, first place on that, the reason why we do it, okay, is because of as part of the subculture from the plantation system. And then what Hollywood did, they went on there and glorified this shit, with the black exploitation films that transferred often to the rap music. Now, for you OTBs who get up there and feel that it's appropriate.
Shabaka, we're not just gonna put it on the rap music. Because what dated rap music?
Okay, that day came out in the late 70s, but then you had the black exploitation films that came out in the late 60s and early 70s that literally saved Hollywood because Hollywood was on the verge of going broke.
What music genres are around? What music art that predated
at that time? Okay, the prelude to the hip hop, man, would be the R&B. Because I remember the first rap record, which was The Rapper's Delight. That was 1978 or 79, I believe.
79, Shabaka, the same year Jay Millie was born.
Okay, all right, 79.
And my birthday in Aaliyah.
Okay, and then in the 80s, okay, wait a minute. Okay, Michael Jackson was doing his thing right there because that is when his Thriller album, wait a minute. It was Off the Wall. Okay, where he had a series of hits during the disco era. Okay, wait a minute.
78.
Huh?
Was Off the Wall came out in 78 or 79?
79.
Okay.
Okay, the reason why I remember because I was 20 years old in '79, and Michael Jackson and I were the same age, although he was about 8 months older than me.
Happy belated birthday, Shabaka.
Oh, that's classified.
I didn't say the date, Shabaka. I just said happy belated birthday.
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely. And then also, too, Gladys Knight just turned 81. Patti LaBelle just turned 80.
Wow. My grandpa would have been 80 in 2 days.
Yeah. And then, okay, so then, now I'm going, okay, so then what happened in the presidential election? Everybody got so fed up with Jimmy Carter, right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about the one that was building homes before he checked out? They had him all comatose. He was like a damn vegetable on his way out.
Yeah, but the man lived to 100, Brother Chan. The thing I respected about Jimmy Carter, that him and his wife in their elderly years, like in their 80s, they got out there and they put in some work for the Habitat for Humanity, man.
Yeah, but he did hire a lot of black people too, I heard.
They did. Because they put projects together in Oakland that I've witnessed. You know what I'm saying? They did some in Denver. They did a few in Los Angeles, because Reagan, you know, he was giving big business, you know, all the tax cuts, just like what Trump is doing. And Trump is like about 5 times worse than Reagan, you know?
5 times. He ain't flooded our communities with no narcotic.
Who, Trump?
Yeah.
Well, I see your reasoning on that, Brother Che. Okay. But one is just as bad as the other.
Some of the most notorious gangsters known to America.
Okay, say that again.
He just pardoned some of the most notorious gangsters.
Who, Trump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think that he's the president that's given out the most pardons.
Yeah, and majority of those pardons went to black people.
Yeah. And then, but one thing about the dumpster, he does say, well, you all did build this country, which we did. Reagan didn't acknowledge that.
More to it, Shabaka. Not only did he say we built the country, he said we hadn't got the credit for it that was due to us. That's why I'm not rolling out him cutting the goddamn check. He's a businessman. Look at the goddamn deal. How much money is it going to cost to get my meme out? How much money is it going to cost to hands off Asada? How much money is it going to take for any of our political prisoners to get the hell out? That's been a lot of 70s.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm thinking, okay, because Matulu, he transitioned, did he not?
Yes, 2 years ago.
Okay, now, the Queen Mother will be
78.
She'll be 78. Okay, so at her age right now, we appreciate them down there giving her sanctuary of where she is.
Yeah.
And you know, and of course, we wish her well. Her birthday's coming up in July. Okay, we wish her well. But I'm thinking, man, that's
But you were celebrating birthdays earlier. We forgot Viola Fletcher.
Okay.
The oldest.
And then, of course, Miles Davis.
Host of race massacre that happened in 1921.
Yes.
And they still they still ain't cut the reparations for them. They can't say it was a year ago because they still living. You know, they trying to wait them out. And
that's exactly what they're doing.
Turned 111. She's 111 years old. She's been waiting over a century for justice.
Yeah. Well, that day happened 100 and
they had the opportunity while I was running for mayor to meet her brother before he passed, Mr. Van Ellis.
So hopefully they had wrote down their memoirs. You see, yeah. So hopefully they wrote down their memoirs, and what have you. Then of course, what the elders in my family did, they had wrote down the family history.
Yes.
Then of course they did comment on some of the.
We can't trace our lineage. We can't trace our ancestry. That's a goddamn lie. Our family kept records, and they was buried.
A lot of the families.
Yeah.
A lot of the families kept records, and what was the main source where these families kept the records? It was in the Bibles.
Yep, in the Bibles, in the family chest,
Right, because you had a lot of births that were in the rural South, where you had the midwives, that did the deliveries. You see what I mean? And what have you. Then of course, the elder sisters, mothers, and aunts, who were with the young women when they were giving birth. You see what I mean?
And we have pictures, and them pictures was labeled. We the only reason for family reunions. We the ones that invented family reunions, because our families were so separated during chattel slavery. There was no family reunion until we invented it. That's an FBA thing. It's not a diaspora thing. That's an FBA thing.
And then funny you should say that, because I recall that the OJs made an album called Family Reunion. 1975 or 76 when I was in high school.
Yeah. What else happened then? What else came out in 75 with George Benson?
Yeah, George Benson, he did his Take 5. Wait a minute. No, then he also did a song that was a big hit for him called Breeze.
Breeze?
That
was Breeze. Him. Okay, I heard that beat before.
Yeah, it's called Breeze In.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course you had the disco era of the mid-70s.
Yeah, and be a fad that was supposed to go out like disco, and it just unofficially turned 50. It's older than 50, but it just turned 53.
Yeah, and then you had KC and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, how I know, because I was born in 71.
Okay, wait a minute. Then I'm going back from memory. Oh, then the Miracles had did an album in 1975 called City of Angels.
Yeah.
That's the album with that song. I'm just a love machine and I won't work for nobody but you.
What was that? Remember that group, Bass Construction, Shabaki?
You mean, wait a minute. Bass Construction, wait a minute. Brass Construction.
Yeah, Brass Construction, yeah.
And they did a big hit called Moving.
Yeah. And then they did also Get Up, Get On Down. Dum, 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 dum.
Okay. Then the Dramatics had a big hit then too.
Also, what's that group? TS Funk, remember them?
Vaguely.
They did a whole song about working. They did a whole song about work.
Okay.
I would play it, but we'd probably get a copyright strike.
Yeah, right. Then I remember Lou Rawls made a big hit in the mid-70s called You'll Never Find a Love Like Mine.
True.
That's my jam, Shabaka.
The name of the song was Work by TS Funk. It was dope.
Okay.
Because you had the funk era too, Shabaka, talk about that.
Yeah, that there. Okay, that there was like Parliament. Yeah. Bootsy Collins.
Yeah.
When Sly Stone and them was on their way out, and then Larry Graham had broke out on his own.
Remember Slave? Just a Touch of Love.
Called Slide. I had the album to that.
He
Slide, ding, 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 slide, ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the Dramatics had a hit out.
Oh yeah.
Called. Okay, wait. I'm trying to remember the hit they had out. Huh?
Didn't the Whispers have a song out too?
Yeah. Yeah, the Whispers and the OJs did, because OJs had
For the Love of Money.
Yeah, For the Love of Money. That's 73, 74. Wait a minute, but they had then the OJs did the album Family Reunion.
To me now.
Yeah, and the big hit off that album that they did was called Living for the Weekend.
Oh yeah, Living for the yeah.
Living for the Weekend, yeah. Then Smokey Robinson.
Yeah. And shame on Smokey Robinson. They should be ashamed of themselves. Them damn tether bras. That was some bullshit. Smokey's
okay, how they trying to smear Smokey?
They trying to finesse Smokey.
Okay. Because Smokey is 83, 85 now.
Yeah, they trying to say that he SA'd them, and that's not true.
Man, Smokey wouldn't have to do no shit like that, man. The Bronx was crazy about Smokey Robinson.
Right.
Yeah. So that is just them bimbos up there trying to get paid.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to finesse them. But I'm going to move us to the next topic because I know you said you're going to give us an hour, Shabaka.
Yeah.
So, like I said, a Mexican man asks why blacks use the N-word.
Okay, well, that is from the my office, Dr. Marimba Anea stated, from the plantation system that has just been carried on from generation to generation.
So this Cholo got on Tariq's Twitter space and asked, why do we say nigga?
But here
Richard,
goes.
slow down.
Yeah.
Where you from? You're Hispanic?
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Mexico, but I'm a U.S. citizen.
How long you been here?
No,
U.S.
I've been here. I've been a U.S. citizen for about 5 years now.
Oh, damn. So you fresh. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How old?
I'm sorry.
How old are you?
What was that?
How old?
I'm 29.
Okay, got it. Question.
Okay, here it goes. Let me see. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you great. Yes.
All right, here we go. So, okay, so I've always so I just have a quick question. So I've always wondered, given the deep and painful history behind the N-word, especially during slavery and the civil rights era, why is it still used so commonly today amongst Black Americans? I understand it was once a word, used with hatred, possibly even the last word some ancestors heard before some horrible violence happened, right? So my question is, why keep it alive in our communities instead of moving on from it or educating others to leave it in the past?
Interesting.
Why y'all?
Now, why do you think
that ain't interesting, Tariq? That ain't interesting. The only thing you got to do is tell that motherfucker.
When I hear it, Tyreek, I hear it kind of like kind of like more of like a brotherhood, like, hey, like, what's up, homie? Or for us, Hispanics would be like, hey, what's up, cool? That's the way I see it.
The baby Shabaka, he only 29.
Okay, he's ignorant.
Clearly.
When I hear it.
Right. Okay, now here's the thing. Let me explain why we use it. Because the N-word, when you say that, it has a definition. It means victim of white supremacy. So we're acknowledging that we've been victimized, okay? And when we use the word, that's like a reclamation of resistance. See, we started using it as linguistic resistance, transforming the term of oppression into a tool of empowerment among ourselves. So you kind of reclaim the slur, so you remove some of its power when it's used by white oppressors, showing that Black people could try to, we'll redefine this hateful word when we say it among each other. So when we hear it from the white supremacists, we're not going to get too bent out of shape, but now we will put foot to ass in certain situations. Also, there's a cultural encoding of group solidarity. See, within our community, when we use the term, it's a code of familiarity. Like, look, we share a struggle. That's why when non-FBAs use it, it sounds weird. Like, hello, my niggas, it sounds weird coming from you. You know what I'm saying? We're letting each other know, hey, we share the same struggle. So it's like a cultural identifier to a certain degree. It acts as an in-group linguistic marker that basically signals a mutual cultural experience for our collective survival.
Yeah.
And it's also like a post-trauma expression. It's a way to process
Totally wrong,
mentally
Tariq.
and emotionally centuries of this racial terrorism that we've endured. So it's also like we use it in a comedic sense. You know, a lot of times we use it in a satirical defiance connotation. So we're use it in ironic commentary or satire. Just like a lot of groups, they've historically mocked their oppressors with caricatures and parody, stuff like that. And there's like W.E.B. Du Bois, he talks about the dual consciousness, and there's a dual consciousness of it. There's the double consciousness that suggests that we live with an internal split between how we view ourselves and how white society views us. So the N-word kind of reflects that psychological tension. Sometimes said with pride, sometimes said with pain.
Yeah.
You see. And we use it to kind of reframe the narrative of Black identity. Some people, they use the word to reject the respectability politics of white society. Some people use it unapologetically, and they kind of reject the idea that we got to sanitize ourselves to be acceptable in the white-dominated society. And also, the white supremacists, and Neely Fuller talks about this, the N-word to them, it don't really have a definition, and that's what gives it its power. You can't really define why it's negative in white society, but we've defined it. It just means victim of white supremacy. So there's a few cultural and psychological reasons why we use it. Now, Rich, the question is, why do so many Mexicans use it?
Yeah, very good question. Look,
that's no damn question. What the hell y'all using it all the time? Huh?
Yeah, personally, I think it's dumb because, like me, I'm used to saying like "who," like "ese." Like I think
that concert was it was mainly them there, but they was all East Side Chicanos. There was a couple West Siders in there, but it was mainly East Side Chicanos that was in the.
You're talking about in East LA?
No, I'm talking about in East Denver.
Oh.
Yeah, we just went to a concert, Shabaki. We just came from a dope Denver Legends concert.
Oh, okay. All right. On that, in my younger years, Brother Che, when I was about your age, right? When OTBs, meaning other than blacks, try to come to me with that term, I'll look them straight in the eye. Hey, man, I'm not nobody's nigga, man, and don't ever call me that.
Well,
and yeah. I'll fall over.
That's because you remember Jim Crow and what that was all about. Our generation, let me finish. Your generation, that was definitely a disrespectful word, and you didn't want to embrace it. Us bastards of the party, the ones that was born after the Black Panthers, after the Black Empowerment era was dismantled, we began to use it as a term of endearment. Amongst each other, not amongst OTBs, but amongst each other.
Okay, all right, I understand that. Okay, but I'm not going to say that you guys in your generation was exactly wrong, but I'm just saying that you guys didn't have all the information with it. It's because of my generation.
We couldn't have all we couldn't have all of that because all of our heroes and leaders at the time were killed or incarcerated.
Exactly. Now, a person who spoke out vehemently against OTBs using that word was a guy by the name of Ali, and he was heavyweight champ. Okay, and he had a zero tolerance for it. I'm talking about now. The thing is, you had to understand about Ali. He had a jovial side of him because he appeared, because the public loved him, right? But he also had a very, very serious side of him when it came to black issues.
Yeah.
Yes, just like that clip I showed you that he told David Frost a while back. Remember that clip I shared, man, when he was talking to David Ross before he went and fought George in '74?
Yes.
Well, he told him, man, well, why do we got to depend on you on everything? You mean tell me that our people can't build our own infrastructures? Well, I'm paraphrasing him, not exactly quoting him, but basically he was talking about building our own infrastructures for food, essential services that we need, educating our own youth.
Us under 50, we missed out on all of that. We didn't. Ali in his prime, or what would have been his prime years.
But keep in mind, Ali never had a prime because he was in exile during his prime. But I do recognize.
What would have been his prime? The 60s or the 70s?
It would have been the late 60s to the early 70s. See, the prime years of a fighter, man, is between 25 to 28. Okay. Yeah. So the last fight Ali had in the 60s, he was 25 when he knocked out. His last fight of the 60s was Zora Foley. So he didn't fight at 26, 27, 28. You see, when he was going on 29 is when he came back. So he had missed his prime years, you see. And had he would have stayed in his prime years, he would have fought Joe Frazier, I would say about 1968, and he would have stopped Joe Frazier. And then probably about 72, 73, he would have retired for good.
Shabaka, 50 years is 75. So that's right. After 75, we missed out on all of that.
Yeah, you guys did, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? And 75 was his last great fight, and that there was the Thriller in Manila in October of 75. Him and Smoking Joe Frazier.
So that left a void, and we used.
Yes, it did.
We used that term, that word, that slur, as a term of endearment to acknowledge our victimhood under racism and white supremacy. To see each other as one and the same. Hey, you ain't no better than me. We used it not as a term of hatred or evil, like it was brought to us by the white supremacists. We used it as, hey, that's my brother. You had, I hate saying this word. You had during the Vietnam War. What came out of that, Shabaka? We were calling each other blood, and we invented the DAP.
Exactly. Now, glad you brought that up. Okay, is because during the Vietnam conflict,
in the 75.
Yes, the war itself ended in 75, but the height of it, where they were sending black men over there indiscriminately, was between 67 and 70, and that's why when Eartha Kitt got censored by LBJ is because Eartha Kitt was attending a luncheon at the White House. And then,
for those that don't know, she played the original Catwoman on the Batman series.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, she did it. Yeah, she said it. And she had told Lady Bird Johnson, well, what about all the black mothers whose sons are dying over there in Vietnam? Yeah, and I had two loved ones who served over there in Vietnam. You see what I mean? So that kind of touched.
My grandfather served in Vietnam. He was in the Navy.
Okay, all righty. So, and he was in a place I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts to, called the Mekong Delta. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
He had a lot of all his travels. Like my mom has all that stuff. He had his admiral ships and pictures of his admiral ships and all of that. He was very dedicated to it, and he gave them 20, 25 years of his life. The United States military.
Okay. Now keep in mind that Geronimo Pratt, who was the chairman of the Los Angeles office of the Black Panther Party, he too was a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Then when Muhammad Ali had refused induction, white America called him a coward. And then, of course, you know, because we did this story on that. And he said that if he's going to die, he's prepared to die fighting one of them. And you could hear a pin drop in the room. You remember when me and old stupid Sarge got off into it there when we was doing Blog Talk. You say, you know, and he made him shut up.
Oh, Mandingo. Did Mandingo come out in 75 too?
Mandingo came out in 1975 with Ken Norton.
Yeah.
And that same year, Muhammad Ali made his movie called, the following year, Ali made his own story called The Greatest My Own Story, where he portrayed himself.
That was 76.
Yeah, that was 76. It was called The Greatest, based on his autobiography. And Ali had stated that if I get up there in any films, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna see me with no white woman. You know, you're gonna see me, if anything.
He always had a sister on his arm.
Yes, sir, he did. He always did. He always did. You know, he always did.
Let me finish this Twitter space, Shabaka, before you lay it down, because you probably
because I got to lay it down in a few more minutes.
The answer would be that sometimes, like for example, like in school, like when you hang out with a lot of like Black Americans, I think it's because since they always hear them say it, it kind of like, and it's repetitive, like it might like catch on to them and they'll say it. That's what I assume. That would be my answer, right? But definitely, they definitely shouldn't be saying it.
Yeah, Monsoon, what's up, Monsoon?
Hey, what's up, Tariq, man? Long time listener, first time caller, man. I've been listening to Hidden Colors, man. One, I know who Francis Cass Wilson is because of you, man. I know who Nilly Fuller Jr. is because of you, man. So I want to say much respect to you, bro.
Yeah,
appreciate you 100%. Man, hopefully I get to call in so much because you're like Morpheus to me, man. There's so many things that you talk about that's happening in my life, but I wanted to talk about Hawaii specifically because I'm out here on the Big Island, Kona. I've been here since November.
How's everything out there?
Man, it's beautiful out here, man. There's so many opportunities. I wanted to send that out to the family, man. If you look it up, the Big Island, Kona, it's so many opportunities if you're trying to work, man. Everywhere is hiring, man. There's so many different trades and so many different things, man. I've been working in hospitality and doing everything. And really, the foundational Black Americans out here is like a handful of us. But whenever you see us, we the ones who making things shake. As far as whatever field we in, whether it's in transportation, whether it's in hospitality or anything, if you follow that foundational Black American, you can see that they're the ones who's making everything move out here, man. So I just wanted to put that out here. And there's some Hawaiians out here too. I don't want to talk trash about nobody, man, because I'm out here, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, some Hawaiians out here who darker than me, man, but you call them Black, they look like they want to go outside your head or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of confusion out here, man, but everything that you say is 100% true, man. But man, I just want to say I appreciate you, bro, for sure, man. Hopefully I'll time in with you again, man. But yeah, man, keep doing your thing. Much respect. I'm from Washington, D.C., but I'm out here in Hawaii.
My man, I appreciate you so much. Yeah. C Killer. Let me get C Killer. C Killer.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to the Hispanic guy, but I think he got out of here. Is he still on?
Yeah, I knew you wanted to holler at him. Yeah.
Because he tried to mention, well, Hispanics, we just say food. Now, everybody knows, especially from the West Coast, food was our word. We used to call each other food.
Yeah.
Up until the 90s. Yeah. Heavily. The Cholos took that from us. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wish he stayed up here. I wanted to have him chop it up with you. Thank you. Brother Charles, what's up, Charles? Charles, your lunch is ready.
Hey, don't do that, boy. Hey, no.
I can't hear you, Charles. Wake up. The headphones.
Hey, we ain't doing that. Hey, look, I got a question, bro.
Charles, yeah, okay. And the reception is so bad. What's up, Charles?
Hey, man, look. If
I can't hear you, Charles. I can't hear you, brother. Brother, what are you doing? Where are you working, brother? This dude is working in a donut shop. What? Okay, yeah, he might have been a truck driver. Damn, Charles, I was trying, Charles. I couldn't understand nothing you were saying, brother. All right, but we in here heavy. Well, let's get Marcella. Let's get Marcella building. Marcella is doing a lot of gesturing. So what's up, Marcella? Hop on, Marcella. What's up, Mark?
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. Where you from?
We're from Staten Island, New York.
Okay. Now, why is
we're part of we're a group called Odd Negroes. We're a group. It's me and my wife.
You did what?
We watch you all the time. No, we're a group called Odd Negroes. We're a proactive group. We watch you all the time.
Ad Negroes?
Odd Negroes.
Odd Negroes. Okay. Now, where are you from? I hear an accent.
Yes.
Hold on. Where?
Staten Island. It's on New York. It's on New York.
What part of you Trinidadian? Where's your? I hear Trinidad.
Not at all, my brother. I was born and raised in New York City.
I know that. Your family. I hear a Caribbean accent. Who's Caribbean in your family?
Can I be honest with you, Tariq? Nobody.
Nobody.
Everybody was born in New York. Everybody.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Oh no. Slow it down, Marcella. Slow it down. Everybody wasn't born in New York. All right.
I know what you mean. I mean, if you want me to double down, I don't know. I don't really go. I don't visit people out there. We don't do none of that.
Brother Marcella. Marcella.
Hey, hold on.
Somebody's Caribbean.
Hold on.
Who's Caribbean, brother?
This is not that kind of vibe. Because
brother.
I'm not Caribbean.
You're in a yeah.
That's right, cuz.
Somebody's. Say it again.
Family, because they passed down that. I hear your.
I don't know why you hear an accent. I don't have an accent.
Who's Caribbean in your family?
A whole damn week.
Hey, Jay Militant.
You don't want to say it?
Black music history.
No, I'm saying I don't know how to say it. I don't. No one has like a Caribbean background in my family.
Really?
Yes, you do.
I'm being dead ass. I don't know what to say. No, I already talked to you before. I don't know. I'm not doing that. But I already talked to you before. Say it again.
Where?
Staten Island, New York. I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York. My family was raised in Brooklyn. I mean, nobody came from I have no grassroots background. I don't know what to say.
Where did they come from? How did they get to New York?
How did my mother get to New York?
How did your family get to New York, sir?
Wait, hold on.
Okay. I don't.
Wait. Time out. So wait. Can I ask you something? If I was born here, right, and my mother was
saying,
you're a first.
I had to meet. God damn, man, it don't take all that.
See, I would have been on.
This is what I'm saying. We know you ain't FBA, brother, and it's okay. I'm not judging you. See, this is all this elusive shit. You're talking in circles.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I'm born here. My mama and them here, brother. This is what I'm saying. See, if we're gonna have a conversation, I like for us to come in with truth.
Right.
I like for us to come in with truth so that the conversation will be in good faith. Now that you're so elusive about just your own background, now your conversation ain't gonna be about shit. Your conversation ain't gonna be in good faith. This is what I'm saying. When people can come in and just say exactly who they are, then we can really have a good conversation. But when cats are being elusive, now it's gonna be some bullshit. That's what I'm saying. No disrespect, Marcella. But I hear you have a Caribbean accent, so somebody's Caribbean in your family. All right, that's not an FBA accent you have, sir. But Marcella, go ahead. Marcella, hop back in.
I'm sorry, brother. I don't know what to say. No, because like I said, I share your shit, I follow your shit, and I don't have an accent. But no, look, you can check. You can actually, real shit. Just check my history, Odd Negroes history. I was born in America. I have no lineage of what you're talking about. And I have no tether lineage. I watch you burn tethers. I've watched you do all that shit. It's not my shit. That's okay. No.
Slow down. Just because you're foreign doesn't make you a tether. I'm not going to say you're a tether just because you're foreign. Just because you're foreign, that does not make you a tether. All right, that's what I'm saying. But the fact that you don't know where your family came from, now that's a red flag, Marcella. When you just keep saying New York, no, people just don't pop up in New York. They came from somewhere. You understand? And you saying, well, I was born here. And that's what a lot of people from immigrant backgrounds say. So I don't know why you're because you sound like a mature brother. So you know your background. You know where your family's from. All right. But go ahead, Marcella. What else did you want to talk about, sir? Mr. Odd Negro from the Odd Negroes. Marcella, hop on in. I'm not judging you, brother.
It's the Odd Negroes podcast. It's me and my wife.
Where's your wife from, by the way?
My wife. She's African. She's African descent.
Is she there?
And she's African American. She's here.
Oh, but she's African. All right.
No, she's I'm African American. She doesn't speak African. You know what it's like when you wait, hold on, let me finish. Can I just say it? I know where you're gonna go at. I know you won this round.
Brother. God. Stop all that fast talking, brother. That's not a good look. You're not gonna fast talk. If I ask you a question, you ain't gonna fast talk your way out the shit now. Come on, slow down. Let's not do that. That's a major sign of deception. You're trying to fast talk your way out of, brother. Damn.
Where are your people from?
This could have been answered 10 minutes ago. What part of Africa is your wife from? Just asking, just for the sake of conversation. No judging. I'm just damn, brother.
Yeah.
What part of Africa is your wife from?
Not only where they family from,
Marcella?
where they from, all the way down.
Unmute your microphone, sir.
Right.
Sorry. All right. I'm not getting into none of that. That's not important. You asked me why I called you. Why I even tapped into this. I know she's from a part of it. She doesn't speak the language. I don't even. It's not relevant.
Hey, that's okay, brother. You can't call up your promoting your pod.
She's an American Black. She doesn't identify as African. She, you know what I mean? Like, you know, those people who don't talk to that other side, and they just they just stick to how they were raised as an American. So they just are American. There's no connection to that other side. I mean, that's what it is.
The lineage, though, yeah. Just because I got relatives I don't. Just because I don't talk to them. Lineage, okay. Yes.
Right, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like she doesn't communicate with them, and she doesn't speak Liberian or whatever. She doesn't speak African or nothing. I'm just saying, that's not a language, but I'm just saying, hold on, I'm sorry. It's your shit.
From Liberia. Okay, there it is. Got it. That's okay. My family's from Liberia. Hey, brother, damn. That's okay. All right? Oh, God. Okay. And you, are you Spanish?
Sorry, you're breaking up.
Yeah, are you Spanish?
It's excellent.
On his end.
Yeah.
Huh? Say it one more time.
Are you Spanish?
No, I'm not Spanish. I'm a black male.
Okay. Somebody pulled up something. You were into soccer. You're a soccer fan.
Soccer? No, they ain't find my right profile. They have to find Odd Negroes. Just click right on my profile. I do not believe in. I don't even watch football. And if I did repost a soccer thing, it was because they framed that there was a LFC soccer game that happened in Britain that I just found out about, that they accused a black male for being the person who drove that car into all those people. But then they found that it was a white person. So I have some friends out there in London who are of brown descent who were like, oh, well, that it wasn't a white person. I mean, I'm sorry, it wasn't a black or brown person who drove that car during that after that football game that ran into those people. And everyone thought it was a brown person, but it was a white person. And if you Google that incident, they put up that the person was a lovely family white man who drove into the car. See, that's why I reposted that, because That's that type of shit that irritates me. You know, like
getting down the ring.
Like I said, I know I grew up in Staten Island. I grew up on Wu-Tang.
Hey, friend, hold on for a second. Let me holler at
I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, friend, hold on for a second. Let me holler at Flex.
What's up, cousin Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Flex, explain to him the reason why we know fast talkers are lying, because he calls soccer football.
Yeah.
And
that's how they call it.
Hold on for a second, friend. I'm talking to my family. And you explain to him how foundational Black Americans understand between each other, stuff like that leads to that violence.
Yeah.
So explain to him about fast talk and lying. Just be honest. If you're Spanish, say you're Spanish. Your wife
not
say
Spanish.
like, hold on, friend. I'm talking to Flex. Just say what you
Africa,
need to say and continue to go. Okay? All right, Flex. I'm gonna bounce out.
Thank you.
All right.
Anything else, Brother Marcellus?
No, I'm not trying to. I don't know. It's making me seem like I'm lying about something I'm telling the truth about, but it's okay. All I'm trying to say is this.
You are, brother.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
You are.
Say it again.
Listen.
He's breaking up.
You hear me, brother?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You were sitting out.
Okay, you probably in there boiling some goosey, and it's.
No. Don't do me that. Don't do me like that. I watch your show. Don't do me like the slipper guy. I'm from America. Don't do me like that. You didn't do me like the slipper boys and like that, and it's not true. That's fabrication. I'm from America. My parents are from America. That's not fair. All I was trying to say was, as I was giving you a compliment. It's all right. It's whatever. All I was saying was, I follow your shit, and all I was saying was, I got tight at the soccer game. If you're looking at my shit, was because they always put shit on us for no reason. There's a lot of sport things that are happening that got me super tight. I went back all the way from COVID when they made up a thing called the front row Karen. This was an incident that happened with LeBron James. This happened before they even opened up the games for us to everyone to go back. There was a white woman that yelled at LeBron James, and she was like spitting at him and all that. This was when COVID was active. This is my shit where I was like, they really don't understand their own privilege, and even in the face of danger, they still went out their way to do something crazy. And I feel like going forward, they won't stop. And I see your posts on X. You always post like crazy, like meth white women doing crazy shit, and I always repost it. It's just that kind of thing where I never get to see the I want to say the what is it?
Okay, Marcel, you got
this is the off the hinge. I never get to see unhinged white people as much as you post.
Thank you. I had to let him go. I don't know what he's talking about. He's just kind of babbling, brother. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay, Marcel. I'm okay. You just all over the place, brother. Damn.
He was
okay.
Over the goddamn place.
Nah, you just going off the rails. I don't know. Okay. You're being elusive about your family, then you're elusive about your wife, then you start just going all around the rail, brother. And the more you talk, we clearly y'all can hear his accent. The more he's talking, the more pronounced his accent is. Brother, we hear your accent. Y'all, listen, family, y'all can't do this. Well, I was born here. No, that don't work no more. No disrespect. No disrespect, but that whole I was born here, what's your lineage? Oh no, New York. No, brother. I hear an accent, and that's okay. We just like to know who we're talking about or talking to. We like to know who we're talking to. Oh boy, it's like pulling teeth talking to his ass. That's how they be at the immigration office, just talking in circles. I am 15 years old, nigga. I need a green card. They used to just talking in circles like that.
Yeah.
That is not my bushmeat in the suitcase. I was framed by some other niggas. They're just y'all used to talking in circles. Oh God. Okay.
I need some more work.
Oh my God. I'll play it for Lady Che.
Baby, tonight. I need some more work on me tonight. baby, tonight. I need some good work on me tonight. Yeah, yeah. I need some good work on me tonight. I need some good work, baby, tonight. I need some good work on me tonight. Yeah, yeah. I need some good work.
That's just the deodorant line, Shabaki. It's supposed to be
Black
all
owned
natural.
business.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's
All
root
right.
work.
Getting on to
OTB shit, root work. You know about the root work, right?
enlighten me.
It's the FBA version of voodoo or voodoo.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So once again, ancestral deities.
Yeah, that too, but like our practices, like how we would heal each other and heal ailments that we might have. We're real good.
Right.
Well, we're real good with the nature, with the nature. We can grow
Right.
our we can put protections around one another with mojo bags and stuff. That's what they were showing in the movie Sinners. You gotta see it.
Okay, I never saw Sinners. Yeah, I never saw Sinners, but okay. So basically, what you're saying is African spirituality. Is
Well,
what you're
African spirituality is fused with Black Aboriginal theology.
Huh. Well, I have to check on that. But one thing I know is that we're in full agreement, and it's very interesting of how the hurricanes, when they originate off the coast of Kibalan, they take the same passages of the slave ships.
Yeah, they take the same trade winds. That's why it's ridiculous. The coppers always say that they discovered America when all you got to do is take them trade, the currents, and the trade winds will bring you right into America.
Well, the thing is, like when they said that Columbus discovered America, you have to remember that Columbus was a filthy, nasty bastard. He was a goddamn drunk, and a drunk motherfucker was going west when he thought he was going east.
That's what we were taught. But we already had the maps. The Moors and Aboriginal people already had the maps on how to get here from Africa. That's why we always say that. That's why we always say.
I think your boys over there, man, in Angola had them as well too. It's because when you look at Angola, you go due west of Angola, you're gonna wind up in Brazil.
There's currents. There's currents in the Atlantic that will take you directly into either South America or North America with just a single sail. You don't even need no ship or any of that. Yeah, just a single sail boat or canoe will get you into the Americas. But you got the trade winds and then you got the currents as well.
And that's crossing the Atlantic, right? Because the Pacific is about twice the size as the Atlantic.
That's in any of the oceans. All the oceans have currents.
Right. And then when the oceans meet, they collide their currents, like around the Cape of Azania and wait a minute. Yeah, around the Cape of Azania, and then let me see, and then they collide with the Atlantic off of Argentina, off of South America, going into the Pacific.
Shabaki, even further south than that, and what is it called? Del Tango. It's at the very tip of South America. It's like
that there will be Buenos Aires. Wait a minute.
No, Shabaki. That's further north. It's the Tegro, the Ago or something. It's like right before you get to Antarctica.
Not Tierra del Fuego, is it?
Yes, that's the name. Yep.
Okay, if I got my geography right, Tierra del Fuego, if I'm not mistaken, is down at the southern tip of Argentina.
It's on the southern tip of Uruguay and Argentina. It's further south. It's further south, like Chile south. Like it's like right next to Chile.
Yeah, because wait a minute. Okay, that there is near where the Andes Mountains is. Okay, so that there would be Chile and Argentina.
No, Shabaki. On the other side of Chile is what did you say? Diago?
Tierra del Fuego, which is the land of fire. The Fuego is fire.
The land of fire is on the other side of Chile.
Yeah. Because I don't have a map in front of me, because I think when you get down there in South America, way down in the south where the Atlantic Ocean goes into the Pacific. I think that's what they call it. And then the next thing south of that is where all the penguins are on the South Pole, because penguins are native to the South Pole, not the North Pole.
Correct, Shabaka. And we also know there's pyramids in Antarctica.
Okay, I haven't came across any research or any information on that, but I'll take your word for it.
I have, Shabaka. There's pyramids.
Okay.
Pyramids ain't native to Africa. There's pyramids all over the world.
Okay, now, and then wait a minute, not Claude Anderson. Oh God, okay.
So there was
Dr. Amos Wilson.
Yes, there was another brother that wrote a book. I can't remember his name, but in the book he showed that there was black people already here in the Americas prior to the.
Well, we had circumnavigated the globe, because I came across
Shabaki when the conquistadors arrived in the land of fire. They seen black Aboriginal people.
Okay, so that'd be the 1500s.
That they thought were like black Americans or considered black people today.
Okay, and then of course, America, Americo, that's an Italian word.
That's not how that name originated. The CCO or whatever, that's not how. There's more evidence that debunks that America was named after the Aboriginal people here. It wasn't even by the Europeans, and the Europeans, not even the Europeans, but the Aboriginal people had named it Turtle Island. And the only way you know it looked like a turtle, you have to see it from the air.
Now, how are they able to see it from the air at that time?
Shabaka, you ever heard of Atlantis?
Yeah. And that's why you got what they call the Atlantic Ocean, is because from what I understand about Atlantis, they were highly technicalized off of natural elements as opposed to manufactured shit.
Correct. So they had the technology back then to be able to see the planet, let alone the continent of North America from the air. And it looked like a, and when you look at it from satellite view, like if you was to Google Map America, the whole continent, not just the country, but the whole continent, from the air, from satellite view, it looks like a turtle. Like the tail is down in America. The head is up in Canada, in Greenland and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like up by
but wait a minute. Greenland is on continent, isn't it?
No.
What's it attached to?
It's an island. It's a big old island.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
It gets distorted on the maps. They make it look bigger than what it actually is. Just like certain maps in Africa look smaller than what it is.
Right. And that's what
they also flip the maps, so the North Pole is going to be the South Pole, and the South Pole is going to be the North Pole.
Okay, and then what's the cause of the magnetic north on the compass? That has to be electromagnetic field.
Yeah, well, there's a thing called pole shifts, and they happen like every, let's say, 25,000 years.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold it. You're close on something. It's called a wobble. Because when I was studying a astronomy class, they did talk about a phenomenon that does happen every 25,000 years where the Earth wobbles.
And why does the Earth wobble? Because that's how long it takes for the sun, our solar system, to transverse across the galactic center of the Milky Way.
Okay, now you're getting off into Einstein stuff right now.
No, that's just astronomy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and we gave the world that too. You see? Because, we use the stars to navigate across the Sahara.
Shabaka. No. The Dogon knew about Sirius A and B and C before any kind of modern technology.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's why we got to get with Dr. Ashwa Kwesi, man, because I've been checking him out. He's been doing a whole lot of lectures on that. And I think Dr. Kwesi, man, I think he even just permanently had moved over there to Kemet, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I found his YouTube page.
All right, okay, try to reach out to the good doctor, man, because, with these scholars, man, it gets hard as hell to get them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why we appreciated Dr. Christina Parks, coming through for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but before you go, what are your thoughts on these Latinos asking us why we say the N-word?
Okay, well, first place is inappropriate to call us that N-word, number one, okay? It ain't cool. It ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It's an insult.
That's because, like I said, Shabaka, the area you grew up in, it was seen exactly as that. But in my generation and Lady Chase generation, we don't see it like that.
Okay, now
amongst each other, we don't see it. We don't see it like that.
Yeah, well, with me, I'm not nobody's nigga. You know what I'm saying?
It means never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. Nigga means
it's just from the
nigga means things that were flipped to be negative, just like the Nazi symbol was at one time a African power symbol. And
what you talking about, the SWAT sticker?
Yeah, that was the African power symbol. That the neo-Nazi.
Yeah, I've done some research. Yeah, I've done some research on that a little bit. Because like I said, I got all these notes around here over the years, and there was a few notations on that as well too.
So we flipped it, and we took the ER off because they would call us nigger. It's definitely a negative connotation. We took that off and put an A.
Well, the only thing I can say about that is this: take the word sagging and spell it backwards and tell me what you got.
Take the word ginger and tell me what it resembles.
Ginger.
Yeah. If you
enlighten me.
If you rearrange Shabaka, just like if you change America, it spells out something.
What does it spell?
Ginger. Nigger.
Ginger spells nigger. Hold on, brother Jay Wood. Hold on, brother Jay. Now, I see you gonna force me to get up out this bed, man, and go get this notebook. Now I gotta write this stuff down. Hold on. Now I gotta go find. Okay, I got the glasses to find the glasses. Now I gotta find the glasses. Okay, hold on, brother Jay. Ginger is Ginger. So we go REGNIG. I got Regnig on this, brother Jay.
No, rearrange the letters. Like, how do you spell the N word? Use those same letters and then spell out ginger.
Hold on, brother Jay. Okay, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. Okay. Okay. What you're doing, brother Jay, is you're taking the first G and moving the first in and trading places on that. Am I right?
Yes, brother. Rearrange it. How do you spell nigger? Nigger, right? So if you rearrange those letters, you can spell ginger.
Right, that's what I'm doing. That's what I did, because the last 3 letters you're leaving in place. The first 3 letters you're leaving the I in the same place, and you are switching the first N and the first G is what you're switching. So basically, you're just rearranging 2 letters, brother Check.
There's 2 G's, exactly. There's 2 G's.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that N, which is the first.
Then you know how niggas spell Nigger.
Right, but what I'm saying is, to prove your point,
put it in.
Take the first G and move the N. You interchange the first G and the N.
Correct.
And that'll give you ginger, is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, we're on one accord on that. So
okay, all right. I see your reasoning on it. Okay, all right.
It's like if you spell out America and you rearrange the letters, it'll spell out I am race.
Okay, I spell America AMRIKKA.
No, that's not how you spell it. AMERICA.
Okay, alrighty, and
spell it like that. You rearrange.
Hold on, brother. Okay, wait a minute, brother Check.
It spells out I am race.
Well, you can rearrange the letters on that, but then again, but you can take a whole lot of words, brother Che, and rearrange letters, man. I mean, you take gold.
Shabaka, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah. And now here's something for you that's gonna trip you out, not being funny. Take gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rearrange the letters on it, and put an E after it. Guess what you got?
What?
Doge. Ain't that there what your boy Stinky Bird was about? Doge?
Yep. Department of Government Infrastructure. Efficiency, not infrastructure.
He can't fuck up everything and then did.
Yep. He fired himself.
Well, I'm glad they got rid of Stinky Bird and Little Stink, so we don't have to see Little Stink anymore.
Well, he said he was only gonna do 3 months.
Oh yeah. So he put his AI algorithms in place to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then Dump is talking about opening up Alcatraz, and he should be the first motherfucker in there. You know what I'm saying?
Getting back to this, so based off your experience,
yeah,
it's a bad thing and we shouldn't do it.
What?
Say the N-word.
Right. Because I'm not nobody's nigga.
So you're never ignorant getting goals accomplished.
No, well, I have things that I'm ignorant about, like flying the space shuttle or a satellite, you see. But as far as being somebody's nigga slave-minded motherfucker, ass scratching and yassa bossa, no, I'm not that type of fool.
Okay,
and in my files, you know, that they're old as hell, you know, down for generations. That's what they view the nigga as.
Yes, I gotta ask one. Shabaka, so do you consider yourself a victim of racism and white supremacy? Because that's all a nigga is.
Okay, sir, when I look at our history, okay, we've been pulverized, oppressed, murdered, killed, but we still prevail.
Killed, but we still prevail, but you're still a victim of the system. So when we call each other that word, that's what we're acknowledging. That's what Tariq was saying. But you people that's over 50.
How old is Tariq?
He's 50.
Okay. All righty. So which means is Tariq was born in 1975. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say the man doesn't know anything, okay. But they did do a lot of dumbing down, Brother Che, through the educational system, like what your boy DeSantis is doing with his woke shit.
Shabaki, Tariq is a historian, a documented historian. Got whole film series and documentaries and books and all of that.
Okay, what's his educational background?
He's a high school dropout. He's self-educated.
Well, hell, man, we could say that about you and I. We're self-educated. We've both been to college, you know what I'm saying? And what have you. And then, of course, readings that we've done or I've done over the years, such as yourself, you know, with your degree in law, just like how you smashed Sarge's punk ass one day on one of the podcasts real good. Boy, did you rattle his cage. I think I got that on terabyte. You really did rattle his cages because I told the motherfucker, I said, Sarge, you the police, right? To quote George Orwell, police guard, chosen for superior brawn and lack of intelligence. And you will be prepared to give your life for big brother, the leader you have never seen. Sarge got mad the motherfucker with that.
Yeah.
But I didn't say it for him to like it. Hopefully I gave the old boy something to think about, you know.
Yeah. All right, so what is your closing on your way out? Because it's already 1 o'clock where you at.
Yeah. Okay, and I got to go to the doctor noon tomorrow. My car's broke down and shit, you know. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, so what my closing thoughts are, we got to protect ourselves of all times. We got to build our own infrastructures of education, commerce, economics, you know what I mean? And also, too, what we got to do is acquire some land. You see what I'm saying? So we could build up our own infrastructures. And then these other groups, we just turn our back on them. Don't buy this shit like people saying, now with the tariffs, the prices is going up. Don't buy the shit because it's already working, man, where they had to, then, you know, somebody probably out there, man, been hearing our shit. You know what I'm saying? Because there've been some people who's refusing to buy certain shit and they aren't dropping the prices on them because they're going to have to clear all that damn inventory out. They keep raising the goddamn price on non-essentials. Don't buy the shit. Let it sit there on the shelf.
Oh, you're saying the non-essentials, yeah.
Yeah, on non-essentials. You see what I'm saying? And then if you could improvise for essentials, do it. You see? Because they talking about, man, that have to work over there at the Port of Los Angeles is already gone. You familiar with San Pedro and Wilmington, Lady Che?
Yeah.
That's LA's harbor. You know, man, they saying like 40% of their business is gone. Now, if they hurting that shit up there, man, at the Port of Oakland like that, okay, see, then that's an opportunity for us to make a shift where we produce our own shit, build our own businesses, you see what I'm saying? then we could hire our own people, man, and we don't have to deal with Doge.
Well, yeah, that's what we need.
You know, in other words, man, see, with the dumpster, as in human shit, and I want to make that perfectly clear, by the way, when he got rid of DEI, they lowered their guard, sir, and that there's for us to come over there and launch a barragement of punches economically wise of hiring our own people, taking extra time with our own people, because see, we still got to heal amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
They say, which is all part of the mouth of that Dr. Marimba and he says and all these damn other groups, man. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
All right,
yeah, fuck them. We building up our own shit, you know. All right, so that there's my closing comment. It's 1 a.m. where I'm at. It's 2 a.m. where you at, you know. And then, like I said, man, I'm gonna be tied up for a few days, man, because I gotta go to these medical appointments, and then I gotta do something with this damn car, you know.
We doing a Tuesday show or no?
Okay, Tuesday at 6 p.m. That there'll be tomorrow, right?
Yeah, because it's Monday now. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I will try. Okay, schedule the Tuesday show for the normal time and try to get as many people up here as we can, because Desiree had sent me a link of where she's getting ready to do her Zoom and sending me a link. Then
yeah. So you want me to send her the link?
For the Tuesday show?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. And then when I go on her show, I'm just gonna say, yo, sis, you know, you grown, you do what you want to do, but you know, try to come, you know, with a straight head. You know what I'm saying?
And don't be off the Boone's farm or whatever the hell the BACC is.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Right. I don't think she drinks cheap shit. I think that she drinks, you know, good shit. You know, I don't think she fucks with Boone's farm.
But before she go on the air.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say that about the sister, you know, but we come a long way, and we got a long way to go. And then for all you straight hairs and OTBs out there, you're not us. You never will be us. You cannot be us. Say, because, you know, being black is a blessing from the Almighty. Come sit out here in the sun with me tomorrow. We're going to have, so we're going to have a temperature of about 118 degrees tomorrow.
Yay.
Oh, my God. That's not yay. That's like, God damn.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
15.
Yeah, so I'm just inviting the reptilians to come out here and wash their skin, shed, and peel.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. They're going to feel like snakes. Sir.
Once again, my classic question. What color is a snake's belly?
White.
Pink.
No.
Connect the dots. Connect the dots.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
You see. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna try to save this data. So wish me well tomorrow, you guys, that I can get this car back up.
Yes.
You know, or flip it for another car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right. Night from Sin City. Come on, 7-Eleven. Clack, clack, clack. I'm out.
Okay. Go ahead and your thoughts on Mexicans asking us why we use the
Man, I just gotta say this, man. All the OTBs, don't let the shit deflect the message. Just need to mind their own business. Like, get the fuck out of black people's business. It doesn't matter why we do what we do. You'll never get it. You'll never understand it. You know what I mean? I'm as close as I can get.
Okay, there you go.
I had a blouse on underneath my hoodie, and I took off my hoodie, and thank God I had the hoodie on. Just have been throwing bows.
Yeah, move a little bit closer. There you
go. Forgive the hair. It was wild today. Actually, you wouldn't even know I brushed the shit when I left the crib. So I left, and then it started raining, and then it got wild again. So it's fully at its full curlage. Yeah, I wish motherfuckers just stay out of black people's business. Don't doesn't matter. They'll never get it. You'll never understand it. I mean, we just watched a thing with Uncle Phil, bitches over there, white Karen crying. Not really crying, but Karen crying. And y'all voted for it. Y'all, this is what everybody wanted. I didn't vote. You know what I mean? Held my vote. And everybody's late to the fucking black vacation. So, you know what I mean? Which I've been saying forever. I just wish that motherfuckers just stay out of black people's business. It don't matter why. Just know that you're not qualified to say it.
Right.
First of all, y'all ain't just like Uncle Phil said. I give up on the. There's not gonna be no coalition. There's not gonna be a thing. There's a couple motherfuckers here and there that are tight,
but collectively held,
and that I can count them maybe on both my hands and feet. That's about it. You know what I mean?
There's a few individuals.
Aside from that, don't worry about it. It's none of your business. You're not a victim of racism and white supremacy. And I also wish that when people call into Tariq's show, that they just come ready.
Right.
He's gonna ask where your people from. Mm-hmm. He's gonna ask where your mama from. Yeah. And just be ready.
Where your grandmama from? Where your mama's mama from?
Because aside from that, like I've been listening to him, I'm like, oh my god, it's just dragging out. And obviously, it's coming to a point where it's really irritating now. You know what I mean? So I just think that's what I think. I think it shouldn't matter to OTBs, Caucasians, why we call each other what we call each other. We also call each other brother and sister. We also call each other
we're the only ones, FBA, the only ones,
aunts and uncles, and we also call each other kings and queens. So we call each other a whole bunch of names. Family, cousin, and that's how we greet each other, or that's how we share each other's pain. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. We don't. Does it seem like we ask y'all yet? It seems like everybody want to know what the fuck is going on with black people and what's going on in their mind. Mm-hmm. But you see how we're not asking them anything like why the fuck they, what they do or anything like that. Because y'all are late to the black vacation, but come on. Black vacation still. Minding our own business. That's what we should say. Why does it matter? We're minding our own business. It doesn't affect you. Mind your own business. Stay out of black people business.
Right.
Stay out of black people conversations.
Right.
Don't say the word because you're not qualified.
Right.
Not even a lick of qualification. You had your chance to fucking like Uncle Phil. Everybody had their chance to do right by FBA and the true indigenous, the true Aboriginals. And what happened? Everybody gave us the big FU. So now we just sticking our tongues out and minding our own black business.
Yeah.
Staying with our people, keeping our people safe, looking over our shoulders, making sure everybody's on the right page. And if you see your brother or sister down, stand up for them. Don't do no sellout shit, because we call that out too. Yeah. If you see a motherfucker going through something with an OTB, and you have a chance to stand up and stand with them, then stand up and stand with them. Don't do that sellout shit, because motherfucker like me will call you a sellout. Right. And we'll say, why are you moving to the back? Look, if I can, and we can defend our children, our wives, our husbands, our parents, our aunts, our uncles, our elders in the community, that there's no reason to be a scary ass pussified punk and not do it for your family or friends. If you see a motherfucker going through an issue like beefing with an OTB and correcting them on why they shouldn't say that word. And no, it's not fragility. I like how these white bitches be acting like we're fragile over our shit. You know, I'm sick of that shit. And they don't like it when I get all upset and call them motherfucking honky or motherfucking cracker or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Karen ass, wishy washy motherfucking white ass bitches. I hate them, but I can't stand that shit. To stay out of black people's business. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that simple. We mind our own. I don't understand why nobody else can mind their own motherfucking business. How come it's so easy for us to mind our own fucking black business, but they can't? You see what I'm saying? Why everybody got to be in the mix? That's all I got to say, really. So, go ahead, Jesse.
All right, so I'm going to move us along to the Myron Tether Games. Thank you, Lady Shay, for your thoughts.
That's what I do.
Analysis on the subject.
Or the Black House, the new Black House.
So we got another question. He says, is Myron Tether Gaines still a Fed?
When did he stop being one?
When did any Fed ever stop being
Right,
one?
right.
When does any informant stop being an informant?
Right. You know, he's a tether. He's a
Sudanian tether.
This whole white supremacy thing, it's a grift.
Oh, God.
Because if they ran shit the way that you claim that they run it, you wouldn't have a YouTube channel at all.
Ugly and ashy.
All right?
Obviously.
So you Wakanda Forever are a bunch of cappers, a bunch of race-baiting racists. You guys want to sit there and blame everything on white people about your oppression. But who ran the transatlantic?
Kafir is the equivalent.
That motherfucker he fled his own fucking country.
It's the equivalent of nigger in South Africa.
He fled. He's a fleer.
He's a fleeing tether.
A tether. And he's ugly as fuck.
Slave trade.
And ashy.
Who are the majority of the slave owners? Who own the ships?
The Jews.
You always complain about the music industry not giving you your fair share. Who runs the music labels? Oh, y'all don't want to talk about that, though, do you? You don't want to talk about that, do you? Bitch ass. That's what you guys are. That's why I call you Jurik Nigshid. Because you will sit there and cry about white supremacy all fucking day, call people undercover white supremacists and you part of the Klan and all this other bullshit.
You hold water for them.
But you never really call out who are the real ones that are oppressing you.
All right, what's up, man? We're in the building. We're in the building. We're in the building. What's up? Welcome to the late night tap-in. Round of applause for you. Excuse me. Welcome to that late night tap-in with Tariq. Welcome to the tap-in. I'm here. You're here. We're ready to do what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, glad to have everybody in here. If you guys can give me a nice retweet, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Let everybody know that I am live right now. And before we get started, ladies and gentlemen,
is that you, Pro?
While we're waiting on everybody to come on in the room,
yeah,
let me show some of that FBA love to some of the regulars who come in the spaces on a regular basis. We got N Yasmin, Cloudy, we got Peter, we got Ivy, Sheba Kita, FBA said, DB, Holland, Zuri, Panamera. We got FBA Shanae in the building, Aki in the building, Kevin Smith, Jocelyn, Myron King Troy, Sunny, Heavenly, Angela.
Yeah, he wants.
We have Daryl, we have Zono, we have of course a lot of y'all. Sweets, Miss T, Miss Skyline, Michi God, Highland, Melody, Love I Am Hoodoo, Brother Macau Shane, the lovely Stephanie Cornbread, Sophia, FBA Furball, and the Tevinator. Boy, it's a lot of the regulars in here. Much respect to you guys. Much love to you. And again, give me a retweet. Let everybody know that we are live. So what's going on, family? You know what? Your boy, the head tether in charge, your boy Myron Gaines, he's up to his old tricks. I saw a video where Myron was doing his podcast, The Fresh and Shit Show, and there was some immigrants. It looked like some Caribbean and African immigrant women up there. So he started barking on them, screaming on them. They ended up having to leave, and he's cursing them out.
What is
just up to his old tricks. And I saw a video he made.
I would love to see that.
Calling foundational Black Americans dumb for always talking about white supremacy, and we don't really talk about the real problem is the Jews, and they throwing my name in there, call me Jurik, nah shit, or whatever the hell he called. So listen.
For it.
Now, why is Musty Myron always running around with foundational Black Americans in his mouth? Especially me. Always talking about me and just talking about our lineage. What's that about? Listen, we got to understand something about Myron. We got to understand something about Myron and his kind, because this is kind of a thing. We got to look at the podcasting game. There's a lot of federal oppie people in the podcasting game, in the YouTube game. You better believe they got ops and feds. Now Myron, to his credit, Myron at least owns up to being a federal agent. In fact, Myron seems kind of proud that he was a federal or is a federal agent. So that's something that Myron is not denied. He's actually owned up to it, and I think he didn't have a choice because people had so many receipts on him. So Myron owns up to being a federal officer. Now he says former, but let's break that down for a minute. Let's get deep. Are you really a former officer for the federal government? Are you a former officer? Because listen, once an agent, you're always an asset.
Right.
Even after official retirement or resignation, many agents, they stay on call as consultants, informants, contractors. Even if they don't wear a badge, and I still think he kind of does, that's my conjecture, they still serve in the system now. That's why you have a lot of, quote, retired FBI agents who get on TV as analysis or analysts, I'm sorry. They try to influence public perception and push narratives that align with the federal government's interests, right?
That's where the cults are.
Ain't no ex-officer now. You ain't really no ex-officer. Remember up in Ohio, the dude who allegedly got ran down by Rodney Hinton. Remember, that guy was a retired officer, but he was still working for the police force. They still let him direct traffic. So he was a, quote, retired officer. And look, all the other officers, they're out there caping for him. You see? So you're not really retired. You're still an asset for the agency. Come on. So we have to put that in context when we think of a Myron Gaines. Because a lot of people overlook that. They hear all of his over-the-top anti-Black rhetoric. People forget this guy is with the federal government. This guy still has security clearances now. A lot of their security clearances, they remain active. A lot of these former agents, they retain their security clearances long after they leave. So that keeps them connected to intelligence circles, making them basically unofficial extensions of the federal operations. Yeah. That's why a lot of former agents in the private sector, they'll use their active clearances to work with military contractors, cyber intelligence firms, government tech partners, stuff like that. So they're still clicked in. Yeah, this nigga, Myron, he ain't no civilian. Law enforcement is a fraternity. I want y'all to understand that police, FBI, DHS, and I think he was with DHS, but it's all feds. These are tightly woven networks. Even former agents, you're still a part of that fraternal brotherhood. The loyalty, the protection, the favors, they still continue long after you retire. You understand what I'm saying? Like, listen, if Myron was to get pulled over somewhere, you think Myron ain't gonna flash an old badge? If he got pulled over, you think Myron ain't gonna flash a badge like, hey, wink, wink, hey, I'm melanated, but hey, look at this. I'm one of you. Come on now. Come on. And they'll let him go with some kind of professional courtesy. They look out for each other. I don't think this dude is a former nothing. And also, listen, these agents, they often, if they quote unquote retire, which I don't think he really retired, they'll go into an adjacent profession. Listen, a former agent, they will rarely enter a completely unrelated career. They're going to go into security, surveillance, private investigation, or work as some kind of political operative. You know, roles that still serve law enforcement and serve their interest. That's why a lot of former agents, they run private security firms, investigation firms, intelligence firms, data collecting firms, because they still have contracts with federal and local law enforcement. So yeah, Myron didn't stop being a federal agent just to be a little podcaster.
Nah.
You understand what I'm saying? He didn't stop that to be a damn podcaster. You didn't leave the federal government to be a YouTuber. This dude is most likely an asset still. And listen, a lot of informant work is not always publicly disclosed. Somebody may not formally be employed by the federal government, but they can still act as a confidential informant. An undercover contractor, they're still feeding intel to the same agency that they left. So, people who infiltrate activist groups, they'll try to present themselves as, quote, retired agents to appear harmless, but they still report back now. And understand that people like Myron, you think this guy don't still have access to law enforcement tools?
You know he do.
You think this dude ain't got access to some law enforcement database?
You know he does.
Intel channels? So that, these are brokered through relationships. Former agents, they can still, quote unquote, run a plate or check a background on some former colleague for some kind of favor. You think, man, come on now. And a lot of these quote unquote former agents with a major quote unquote, because I still think he's working with them, they're used for psychological operations. See, a lot of these so-called ex-agents, they use them in the media, online forum. They use these people to mislead and confuse and delegitimize real resistance movements by mixing in truth with propaganda. You see, for a long time, I remember Bobby Hemmett would call out a lot of some of these white conspiracy theorists as agents, because they'll just pop out of nowhere and they have all of these wild, quirky conspiracy theories. And Bobby was like, man, a lot of these folks are damn agents, man. They just putting out that shit. The federal government want them to put that shit out. They love putting out misinformation because that helps the government. And also remember this, retirement doesn't mean silence. So you rarely see a retired federal agent blowing the whistle in a serious system-changing way. They still toe the line. They don't blow up the system. Why do you think Myron Gaines is always running around here criticizing Black activists for calling out police brutality and white supremacy? Those are his people. The police, those are his folks. That's what he's really saying. When we call out white supremacy, we're also calling out white supremacy in law enforcement. That's his people. That's why he's so adamant against us calling it out, because we're calling out law enforcement and the way they get down.
It's 12.
You see? And a lot of these ex-agents, they're still getting pensions. They're still getting benefits. They still got connections that depend on them not burning any bridges with the agency. So their lifestyle really depends on them staying in the good graces with the federal agencies. Yeah. And a lot of times these ex-agents or former agents are placed in strategic locations. They place them in specific movements and even social media communities to act as agent provocateurs or monitors. That's what COINTELPRO did. They would always have these people who are working with the government infiltrating these organizations. So what they do, the whole manosphere, red pill community. So now you got this anti-Black former agent Tether, who's supposed to be in the manosphere. You're supposed to be talking about how men can step it up, but your whole shtick is how Black folks ain't shit and Black society is bad and all of that. So what does that have to do with the manosphere? Because again, that's how he presents himself, as some kind of manosphere expert. See, that dude has musty COINTELPRO written all over him. I don't think he's an ex anything. We got to be very, very honest about that and understand the context when we hear his rhetoric. Now, why would the federal government have one of their assets out here spewing all of this anti-Black racism? Just like COINTELPRO, the same thing. COINTELPRO is to basically reframe Black Americans as a problem class. This is just an extension of COINTELPRO. Same thing J. Edgar Hoover did. He had people dissing us. And now what they do, instead of getting white people to do it, because that's too obvious, you get us, foundational Black Americans, those of the lineage, they can't trust us because we'll start looking out for each other, which is what we see down in Louisiana. Y'all see what's going on in Louisiana? Those brothers escaped. 2 of them are still on the loose. They didn't got most of them, 2 of them on the loose. And what they're doing, they're arresting a lot of people in the community who helped them. Some people in the jail helped them. So they're trying to make an example out of people for helping them, because that's what we'll do. We'll look out for folks when we see some of our people down bad. Based on our lineage, we're going to side with them. We're going to look out for them. We have lineage camaraderie. That's what they don't want. They don't want that. This is why they always try to denigrate our lineage. They don't want that lineage camaraderie. They understand how important that is. They know that if we get on code with that lineage camaraderie, we're unstoppable. That's why do you think these people are whining about the delineation movement so much? They see the power in it.
Oh man, they like
they see that now when they send their assets around, and the hairline is a little janky and the wig is a little crooked, we're asking questions like, hey, where's this motherfucker from? Where you from? So yeah, you can't send your Tether assets to infiltrate us like you used to. We're hella on code. We're doing lineage checks. So they weren't expecting that. We're checking people's paperwork now so that they can't come around us with that fuck shit no more. That's a problem for them. Remember, what did Hoover say? What did the FBI say? The biggest threat to national security is Black unity.
Right.
And Black people getting unified, and the rise of a Black Messiah, meaning any Black person who is impressionable, any Black person who can galvanize the masses and have everybody on the same page. They said that's the biggest threat, not some foreign threat from Russia or nobody else. They said a Black Messiah and Black unity. That's the biggest threat. Y'all let that shit soak in. That's the biggest threat. So this is why they get these tethers to come in and undermine us. But getting this racially ambiguous non-white asset to spew this anti-FBA rhetoric, they can craft a global perception that Black Americans, we are inherently dysfunctional, even among other non-white people. So they can say, oh, this ain't racist. It's another Black person who said it. And I've heard Myron say, he was on some interview, he was like, well, listen, I'm a real African American. I'm more African American than them. See? He said, I think he said that on Piers Morgan. So you got to watch that, which is technically, yeah. That's why we don't do African American no more. Yeah. That's why they're so upset, because yeah, you can't use that. See, that was going to be their little trump card, saying, okay, if we still sit up here and claim African American, that would include a Myron Gaines. So he can be up here like, well, listen, since I'm more African American, I'm an American and I'm from Africa. I'm more of an authority, so I say that Black community ain't shit, and y'all need to leave white people alone. And we don't need reparations. We need to stop begging all that shit. Man, I'm so sick of this French shit from these tethers. I'm so glad we done checked these tethers on that. I saw a video of some Jamaican dude. Some Jamaican dude was like, "Yes, Bumba Clyde, if the white people, we're going to leave America. The white people, if you don't want us here, we Black Americans will leave America." We're like, oh, everybody in the comments like, nigga, what's all this what's all this we talk? Hey man, chill out with all that French. You're not our spokesperson. You are not our spokesperson. But the thing is,
right,
when they have the Myron Gaines spew all of this anti-Black rhetoric, most likely at the behest of the federal government, you know what that also is meant to do? That's meant to train other immigrants. That's meant to show other immigrants how to have that anti-Black sentiment, have that whole vibe against anything progressively Black. Because a lot of his audiences, they're white supremacists and immigrants, because we've had a lot of immigrants call up here who are Myron Gaines listeners. That's what I said. He's not an anomaly. There's a lot of them tethers who think like that. And the government, they have him spew all that stuff to train the other ones how to adopt those anti-Black white supremacist talking points. So they can view us, as they always do, as social threats, not allies. You see? And what they want to do is create an anti-FBA echo chamber in these digital spaces.
No.
You see, so they're always talking about our lineage under the guise of self-help. It's not self-help. This is you trying to train the algorithm to have anti-FBA sentiments. And also the main thing is to really undermine the reparations movement by trying to demonize foundational Black Americans to others, because the reparations movement is real. We're shutting down political parties. We're having reparations rallies where thousands of people are showing up. It's a real thing. We have not gotten off that reparations square. So they get these tethers who allegedly still works for the federal government to get out here and spew all of these derogatory things about our lineage, giving the impression that we don't deserve reparations. You see, by trying to make us look violent, lazy, undeserving. So they're trying to really sway public opinion,
right,
to justify rejecting our reparations. So we're not going to play that game. This is why we got to really, really get the tethers up out of our circles. You see? And also what they want to do, they want to rebrand white supremacy as a cultural preference. You see, they try to sanitize white supremacy by making it seem like freedom of speech. You see, and also what they do with Myron, they have to create a proxy agent who can't be accused of racism. So you get this former agent who is invisibly white, yet he's spewing all of this anti-Black racism. So his melanin gives him a shield to a certain degree. So they've always done that. They got tethers like Candace Owens and people like that to spew their dirty work for them. So we got to understand what the game is and how this game is out here and how it's going. And it's not just Myron. Listen, man, them using these COINTELPRO tactics by getting these weirdos and these federal ops as podcasters to spew all of this rhetoric, we got to understand where a lot of this stuff is coming from, especially out here in California. Anything progressive coming out of California, we got to really look at history. That has to be stopped first. California, especially Los Angeles and the Bay too, it's very important for them to discredit certain things coming out of here as far as Black empowerment. That's why when we got the Hidden History Museum, we were attacked relentlessly by a bunch of these ops undercover cops, suspected federal agents, just relentlessly. If y'all remember, when we first we didn't even get the building yet. When we got the money and we were looking for the building, we had just a circle of these ops and these feds trying to sabotage it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's typical of the federal government when it comes to progressive movements out here in California.
Right.
And we got to look at history. California, especially Los Angeles, that's always been Black Los Angeles, Black California, it's been a symbol of Black rebellion and resistance. The Watts riots, the Rodney King uprising. We've had major uprisings out here. And Los Angeles has always been a flashpoint for Black rebellion against white supremacist structures.
We already know, cuz.
They had to create SWAT because of the Black people in California. That's why they created SWAT, because Black people were giving the LAPD the business in the 1960s, and they didn't really have the sufficient manpower that they needed. So they had to create special weapons and tactics units, that's what SWAT is, in order to suppress uprisings. Also, what they had to do out here in Los Angeles, they made sure to keep the Black area surrounded by freeways. South Central LA is basically circled by freeways. The 405 on the left, the 110 on the right, the 10 on top, and the 105 on the bottom. South Central LA is enclosed by freeways, and that's by design. That's by design. Where we are, the Hidden History Museum, we're right by the 10 freeway. They made the 110 to upend the Black community. Where we are in the Hidden History Museum in the Jefferson Park area, that was a wealthy Black area. That was an area that a lot of Black celebrities and well-to-do Black people built their homes and their businesses. White people wanted to get them out of that area and get those business out of that area. Black people fought back. Black people had lawyers and they had legal representation that said, hey, we can't do that restrictive covenant bullshit. You can't kick us out of this area. So because I think some of the cases went to the Supreme Court, since that didn't work legally, what they did, they just built the 10 freeway. The reason why they built the 10 freeway was to specifically uproot and disrupt that Black area up there by the Jefferson Park, West Adams area. That was the only reason they did that. They put it right there in that area. And they've always done that. Central Avenue, that was another very popular hub of Black businesses out here. When that runs adjacent to the 110 freeway, and that upended that, those businesses, they went out because of that. When you put a freeway around a business district, that kills it. And they would do that all over. They really, really whooped us with the freeways out here. But the thing is, out here in Los Angeles, there's a high concentration of conscious and politically active Black communities. The Crenshaw District, Watts, Compton, Inglewood, they've always been politically aware, culturally rooted, community organized Black people. Yep. And the thing is, in California, most of us have ties to the South. Yep. So whatever you do here, you're going to have a connection to the South. You're going to have somebody clicked in the South. So if you get some popping here, it's going to get popping in the South. That's why West Coast rap spread the way it did. Yep. It got popping out here, then the South, and then the Midwest, and then the rest of the world. That's why, hell, the number one artist in going around the country right now, Kendrick Lamar. West Coast fashion, West Coast style, that spreads all over the place. Bloods and Crips and all of that. But that's all in New York and on the East Coast and in the South. It's all over the place. Yeah. The culture here is, the Black culture, extremely influential. Yeah. Extremely. So this is why, again, the federal government has always had to squash movements out here, because they know that they can spread. One of the most feared chapters of the Black Panther Party wasn't in the Bay, it was the LA chapter. That was the one they got in that huge shootout there in 1969. There was a huge shootout with the Black Panther chapter out here in LA with Bunchy Carter. He founded that, and they ended up killing Bunchy Carter, by the way, and that was some COINTELPRO shit.
Yeah, it was.
Bunchy Carter and John Huggins That was they got murdered on some COINTELPRO shit. But the thing is, out here in California and Los Angeles, we have like a proximity to Hollywood and the media. So we got access to the Hollywood media, which spreads all around the world. LA controls a lot of the entertainment and media apparatus. So a lot of politically empowered movements in LA, that gets into the propaganda pipeline that creates independent messaging and influence all over the country and all over the world. You understand? And we've had independent educational programs out here in Los Angeles, like the Watts Writers Program, the Watts Summers Festival, things like that, that were independent Black movements that were directly sabotaged by the feds. The Watts Writers Workshop was burned down by a federal agent named Dothard Perry. And he admitted this. He admitted this on the interviews in the 70s, that he was working with the government, and he infiltrated the Watts Writers Workshop and ended up burning it down at the request of the federal government. Why did they want him to burn that down? Because anything Black and independent that could spread, that can be contagious, that will create a network of businesses, meaning a network of resources, then that will create a network of political power, that will create a network of social power, that will create a network of corporate power, then law enforcement power. So they have to, they have to kill it in its crib, so to speak.
Yeah.
You understand? So we got to understand out here in California, any progressive movement that's based on Black independence and Black empowerment, they sabotage that. Just like with these record labels, Ruthless, Death Row, and all of that stuff. Death Row was huge. Say what you want about Suge and those guys, Death Row was huge. So they were planning on taking Death Row down a long time ago. Despite all of the antics that were going on, they were going to take that down. And again, with Easy, his death is still somewhat mysterious too. You get AIDS, you get full-blown AIDS damn near overnight and just die. Okay, that was weird.
It was.
Okay.
I never have dinner with.
There's a lot of questions about that.
I never have dinner with.
So a lot of independent movements in LA, man, that have spread around the world or have the potential to spread, they get sabotaged. So going back to the museum, when we got the museum, they start sending these ops up there. Some of these podcasters with these police ties, Munchie X, she was she had a law firm. They tried to steal the name Hidden History Museum. Yeah, it was some deep shit. They had a law firm. Like, where is she getting money for a law firm? They lost, but I'm like, how'd you just throw away thousands of dollars? I'm like, where'd you get the money from?
Right.
Notice these people who ain't got no verifiable sources of income, they're flying all over the country doing little weird shit. They're getting lawyers. Where are they getting money from? How y'all flying all over the place and y'all ain't got no money? Y'all ain't got no source of income. Where you working? Some of your YouTube views ain't even that high, so you ain't getting no money off YouTube. Where you getting this money from to do all this shit? Bucci Bear, Brandon, big fat ass Brandon. That's another one. He was out there trying to sabotage the museum. That's what we created the Bucci Bear cartoon. Look at the Bucci Bear cartoon.
Yeah.
We suspected that this fat to be an agent for years, doing all types of agent shit. We got him on security cameras, lurking around the museum when we ain't there, looking for security cameras and just doing weird shit, working with those little racist essays who were ops too. That's why we had to take this fool to court to get a paper trail on him. I went to court and told him, I said, I think this dude works with law enforcement. Getting a paper trail on him, because what they do out here, they put nuisance suits on you. Because they were vandalizing the museum. When we got the museum, they were vandalizing it. And that was a play that they were trying to do in order to get a nuisance injunction on us. If you let crime go on in California, especially if you're a Black business owner, if you let crime happen at your business, if there's crime going on, they will hit you with a nuisance injunction if you don't do anything about it. If you don't report it, and if you don't do anything about it, they just take your shit. They'll say, hey, this is a nuisance, so we're gonna take it. They were trying to put nuisance injunctions on Nipsey's Marathon store. That's another thing. Nipsey had that successful store. For years, they were sabotaging my brother. Nipsey told me they were doing all types of shit to get him up out of there. The city they were just going out of their way, telling the owners of the place not to renew their lease. I mean, they were just hell bent on them not having that Marathon store there. They were shaking people down, arresting people for years. They were doing surveillance on the place nonstop, but magically they weren't doing it the day he got shot. Now they ain't doing surveillance that day. You see. So they've always done things out here to sabotage us. Remember when there were some black folks who got some money up and they were going to buy the Crenshaw Mall and they didn't let them do that. They were like, oh no. They let some it was a white Russian oligarch dude who works in the music industry. They underbid the black people. They brought in less money and still got the bid. They still got it. Yeah.
I didn't.
So it's all types of little weird sabotage that go on with us. But yeah, like I said, when we got the Hidden History Museum, it was these quote podcasters, Michi, start doing weird shit, and Ugly Turtle coming out there and filing frivolous lawsuits against the museum. It's a lot of shit that y'all don't know about. There's a cop who was connected with Michi's ass. He came out there to the museum on some bullshit. Some weird tether cop came up. Just a lot of shit. Then, Bucci Bear's fat ass running around there. And now Bucci is up there on No Jumper. Have y'all seen Bucci's fat ass, Brandon, on No Jumper? This suspected informant Negro. And everybody's like, why is this fat on here?
Right.
Why is this big fat weirdo? Yeah, he's on there, and many people believe he's on No Jumper because Brandon, aka Bucci, this nigga can't get no views. He's not no street dude, nor is he a real podcaster or anything like that. The nigga don't get no views. So why is this dude on No Jumper? Well, he's on No Jumper because the feds are watching. Yep. The No Jumper is hot right now.
Yep.
All them federal indictments and No Jumper's name is all in that damn RICO paperwork, yet ain't nothing happening to Adam.
Yeah.
So Adam, I said they're gonna get them some kind of op to sit up in there with their ass. They're gonna get some kind of op, some kind of informant to sit up there to give them cover. So that's what many people believe. Adam got Brandon, the suspected informant, sitting up there. Somebody almost beat his ass up there, by the way. They almost whooped on him.
Yeah, it was,
he almost got his ass whooped up there with that dumb shit. But yeah, there's a reason how all of these gangbangers and everybody's getting a RICO sitting up on No Jumper, and Adam ain't in the damn RICO, nor is he getting a nuisance injunction on his business. You got a business. Come on now, let's just put two and two together. Because they'll throw an injunction on your ass, a nuisance injunction on your business out here at the drop of a hat, especially if there's gang activity. You got a lot of businesses that got shut down in LA for allowing gang activity to happen. You got this dude in Los Angeles County with a bunch of gangbangers on his platform who got hit with RICOs, and this dude ain't got no RICO, nothing. He ain't got no injunction, nothing.
Shit, everybody's
that's because you got some informants in there to say, hey, look, I got my undercovers over here, wink wink. So yeah, so I'm kind of doing something about it. I got my ops sitting in here. I got some undercover assets in here with the federal government. So yeah, I'm good. So we got to watch what's going on out here with these so-called podcasters and all of the bullshit that they got going on and the stuff that they be saying and who they got around. We got to really, really watch what's going on out here.
You wait. Yeah. You wait.
my God.
Yeah.
Kept bumping into me and trying to sit on my arm and shit. And I was just like, I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, thank God we had to leave because I was like, we had to get out there. Man, one more, like, just the overall sense. There's so many combinations that it just, whatever was going on with the Chicano factory, man, it was a lot. It was fucking a lot.
Right.
I was like, man, this bitch is, and then hot, man. This bitch is all like breathing on me. And I was like, oh God, back up. Dragon breath. Back up. Do not put your ass on my arm again, cuz.
All right, so what are your thoughts on Myron Tether Gaines? Is he a fan?
Of course. So is Adam and all them.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. When you go on that show, you go on Blacc, you go on any of those, you know that you're subjected to us giving you the side eye and looking at you like, And I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So they haven't had anything entertaining in a while. So,
yep. Anybody going on Blacc is suspect. Anybody going on Adam 2022 is suspect.
I was sad to see my boy go on there, but I guess he had to go on there to talk shit or do something. I don't know. I didn't watch it. What's next?
Sista who went to Dominican Republic has people feeling sorry for Americans.
Okay, yes.
Because of dump. I think it's because of dump.
Right.
Uncle Phil's gonna give us an update.
You know, when you travel outside the United States, getting out of this bubble that's full of propaganda about us as Americans or even our country, you start really finding out what people really think about us and the system that we live under. Case in point, you had this one sister went to the Dominican Republic and she got an earful. Let's go ahead and check this out.
So this is how I found out America's doing super bad and everybody's laughing at us. So I'm in Dominican Republic or whatever, chilling, vibing, meeting mad people. So I bumped into this group that I really clicked with, and they was from London. They was like, yo, where you from? I'm like, yo, I'm from New York. Like, they was like, where are we from? They talking in their little accent, whatever. Like, we from London, da da da. I'm like, oh, word, that's what's up. They're like, oh yeah, how's New York? I'm like, oh, New York is cool. Like, we just be chilling, whatever, getting fly, you know, just a regular. And I was like, what's up in London? They was like, yeah, we're just, I don't know. They just, you know, serve the regular, because to them, London is regular. Boom. For some reason, I really got a niche with talking about inflation, prices, like how crazy like life is right now with the economy and all that. And usually that'll spark some up, like that'll spark, you know, some flames. And like they're looking at me like, I'm like, this is the part where you say word. Like then they just started looking at me like I'm an object in a museum or something. They're like, really? Tell me more. I'm like, y'all ain't dealing with this. Y'all don't know what's going on. Like, it's not like that up there. They like, nah, buddy. Like, they're like, nah. Like, what's up with y'all? They like, our prime minister doing they called him Paul out. Like, they was like, they're chilling basically. Like, healthcare's free. Like, I'm just like, damn, and they trying to ask me, am I good? I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm really not good. Like, so yeah, they're laughing at us. They're really laughing at us. They said they feel bad for me like that. I mean, I'm good. I'm surviving. But at the end of the day, like, hey, yeah, the whole outside world, America is the main character when it comes to that dump. For sure. Wait, hold on. Bust it. They told me if you got a kid, they take off like $500 off your rent. And that's not no Section 8. So that's one big difference right there. Why I would have had a seed.
When you travel outside the United States and you start speaking with people, one of the first things, especially people from Europe or Canada for sure, one of the first things that they point out is like, wow, y'all don't have free health care? You're like, nah, we don't. If you don't have money in the United States, then you stuck. if you don't have insurance, which will cancel you and can cancel you, you have insurance for your home. How many people had the insurance canceled when they had in a hurricane, floods?
I brought the tether.
The wildfires like they had in California, all kind of things. These people, you've been paying this insurance for years, and they'll cancel you. So run me back my money then, because clearly you're not paying out a claim. So run me my money. And the federal government don't make them return our money either. They run off with all our money, but say we got to have insurance to have a mortgage. We got to have insurance to have a car if you're paying on it or whatever, right? Health insurance or whatever. Now you could be a cash patient if you want. If you got the cash to pay, then you don't have to have insurance. You can just be a cash patient. But a lot of people are not in a position in America where they can be a cash patient. So it should be free, 100% free. So we don't get free health care. And we know why with the history of America, we didn't get free health care. FDR wanted to do it, but we didn't get free health care because white people in this country didn't want black people to get free health care. So they said, nah, we don't want it. We don't want free health care because black people are going to get it. I mean, this is the kind of people that we're stuck living with, unfortunately. And the people that is running the country is them. If black people were in charge, everybody would have free health care, including them, if we were in charge, right? But people look at our politics and look at how crazy it is, how it's no decorum. People ask questions about the school shootings. People ask questions about why they got to have so many powerful weapons running around there. Like, what do you need all that for? People ask about the police brutality. I've been asked these questions myself about the police brutality. I've been asked, why do we as FBAs still stay in America and they treating us like that? I've been asked, why do we as Americans put up? This is a question I've been asked. Why is we as Americans put up with not having free health care? Why do y'all let the politicians do that? And the first thing I say is, it's not that we as at least FBAs allow anything. The problem in America is them folks. They the problem. They are so ate up with anti-black racism, I told them, that just because someone like me would get free health care, they don't want it. They will side with billionaires who can pay cash payments for their health care. They don't need insurance. They can pay for all their treatments. They can get the executive physicals, and they can get all that.
I know somebody should.
While the poor white people are suffering, but long as they feel like they can hold on to anti-black racism because that's a culture for them. You understand? And people, when they hear that, they like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. And this is other white people have said this to me. Other European white people I've talked to. I'll never get this one Irish lady I talked to on the trip before. She was asking questions and she's like, what is wrong with the people in your country? Like, so they don't want free health care because black people are going to get it? That's stupid. I'm like,
Such as life.
That's what we've been saying, ma'am, for a long time. I say, but that's your cousins over there. We don't claim them. She ain't like that. She said, we don't claim them at all. They say, well, look at how they act. Who wants to claim them? I'll never get that Irish lady told me that. So not all Europeans want to claim these over here. And it makes me, and now I understand why when you tell them, well, why don't you head back to Europe? Europe is an option. Yeah, that's why they don't want. That's why really they don't want to be in Europe like that, because Europeans look down on them by the way they act. I'm not saying they ain't got racism in Europe now, but the European racism, for the most part, it's kind of like that liberal type of racism. Maybe certain parts you got it kind of like that out front racism over there, but the most part it's that liberal racism. You can be racist, but you got to do it undercover. You got to do it behind the scenes. You got to do that sort of thing. Let other people participate in the system so you don't look like you're actually anti-black racist, that sort of thing. But yeah, a lot of people look down on these folks over here.
And acting like they didn't say it.
And they say, man, look at the food they give y'all. Look at once they start breaking it down, like I tell people, a lot of our conditions and what we deal with is really third world conditions. I tell you what, if the system of credit would go away tomorrow, and if they told you had to buy a car cash, you had to buy a home cash, everything you have has to be cash, all of America would be in immense poverty tomorrow, because most people can't afford a car cash. Most people can't afford to buy a home cash. Most people can't afford any of that. See, when you look at people overseas, for the most part, minus places like South Africa, they got kind of like a credit system a little bit, especially like getting a mortgage. They call it a bond, a 20-year bond, though they do 20-year or whatever. But places that don't even have that, if you got your home, you own it. You got your land, you own it. They don't keep paying property taxes on the land they own. No, they don't. Once they pay it off, all the taxes are paid off. And that's it. They own the land. That's their land. In America, you can buy land, you can buy a home, and they still taking property tax from you. And even if you pay that home off, you got the title deed to that home. Let you miss some property taxes. They'll take that home from you that you paid for. So is your home really your home in America?
Nope.
You paid the bank off, but the city keep getting money, running the money on you every year.
Yep, state tax.
You have to be a silly person to want property taxes. Now I'm hearing them folks more so now talking about want to get rid of property taxes, but why now? Why you get rid of it a long time ago, right? But people don't be like, oh wow, y'all so much better. No. People be looking at us like, what's wrong with y'all country? And then as an American, when you travel, you got to be answering for that mess, because they looking at you waiting for an answer. Now, as FBAs, they don't really fault us for a lot of it, because they know a lot of people know our condition in America. But still, it's that's why some people that lead this country, they be kind of on one. They don't want to hear talk of America, because once they get a taste of other places and they realize it's not like here, they're like, man, I'm cool over here, man. I ain't trying to go back over there. How many brothers and sisters I met traveling, well, they're like, yeah, Phil, I'm not going back. I'll go visit family and friends, and I'm coming right back over here. I can't live with them people no more, bro. I am so good. I met them. FBAs met them and say they ain't coming back here because they don't want to be living underneath their rule. They want to be living underneath they police. They in places where they can get some decent health care. Don't break the bank. Yeah. That, and like I say, brother, sister, I don't fault you for that. I don't. Because not everybody want to live underneath these people like that. They just don't. But especially with Donald Trump doing some of the things he's doing, people really looking sideways at America now.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's good.
I think they were laughing at us. I mean,
that's good. Because black people been telling everybody about how America really is. Now they finally seeing it. See, we good at the situation. Our reputation isn't tarnished when we go travel other places. They don't look down on FBAs. We look down on what America's doing, but they know we ain't got nothing to do with it. We've been victimized by the system like forever, right?
Ever.
But shout out to this sister for putting this out, because it's the truth. A lot of countries look down on America for real. They want to tell you we're the greatest country on earth, but we don't have free healthcare. We're the greatest country on earth, but we paying property taxes on things we own. We own a car. We got to pay money for registration every year. We own the car. And if we don't pay registration, we can't drive our car on roads that our taxes pay for. They can tell you if you can have a driver license or not, but I thought that was supposed to be owned by the public, taxes. So you telling me I can't drive on roads I pay for? Because you could say if I can drive a car or not? That's not freedom. That's not freedom. That's the thing that we're talking about. Americans aren't really free. We're not. You can break down every bit of this system, realize you're not free. You're free on paper, but you're not free in practice. And them folks starting to slowly see it slowly. But we've been saying that a long time too. But yeah. A lot of countries are laughing at us right now, shaking their head too. Shaking their head. And you know what? FBA been shaking their head at this country for forever. A lot of people get offended when you see people making videos like what you're about to see. And my thing is this: if you're getting over right? Why would you go on the internet, tell it on yourself? Like, check this out.
The truth is, y'all hating on me because I live rent free and I can afford the luxuries that y'all dream about for me and my kids. I'm going to continue to buy my luxury bags while the government pay my rent. I'm going to continue to go on trips and do the things that me and my kids love to do while y'all struggle to pay for a grocery bill and I'm swiping my EBT card.
Oh, okay. That's where do we go start? This is my thing. It's your attitude, sis. It's your attitude. You're getting on the internet and you're gloating that you're living rent-free off of the government. And you're not the only one, because I know some of the folks may show up here and say, see, that's what we talking about.
I'm sorry, we skipped ahead. What's your thoughts about the Dominican, the sister that went to the Dominican Republic?
She tethered. Okay, she a tether. She over there with them. Stay over there. I'm not fleeing. I'm from the soil. I'm not fleeing. I don't give a fuck how bad it get. And this isn't the first time. So in my 45 motherfucking years of life, this isn't the first time. That broad.
Yeah, that broad is stupid.
She's stupid. She ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, they've been looking down. Oh, I'm sorry, cuz I didn't get to your comments.
Yeah. They've been looking down at us, laughing at us for a minute. So if you this isn't nothing new. We just like they laughing at us. They laughing at the United States for their fuckery. The president,
as well as them whites don't act like these whites here.
The thing is that I don't know how to respond to that. The thing is that
they've been looking down on us for years.
Yeah, the thing is that that broad is the one they just showed. She is stupid. She ruined it for everybody. Not everybody live like that. Not everybody is doing that type of bullshit. Like, a motherfucker does live hand to mouth. Like, I live hand to mouth. Like, literally. And they make, like, look, this broad, man, let me get to that real quick. Like, first of all, you look like you shabby looking bitch. When you over there talking all that shit about your handbag and whatever, you still shabby looking. And you ruin it for everybody.
Hold on,
you're gonna get it.
We gotta finish up with the Dominican shit.
And she'll tether. She went over there. She over there chopping it up, and she like, yeah, they're laughing at us. This ain't like you must be new to the party. Like every country looks down at us at the United States, and now with the new regime and how the tariff war and whatever the fuck is going on, the lack of consistency, whatever, this shit we got to deal with. Nobody's issuing a handout or trying to help us, a hand up or whatever. No other country's trying to help us up or deal with it. So, everybody's just will let the tyrant carry on what the tyrant does, right?
Yeah.
So he's doing what he's doing. He's a fucking dictator. He's like whatever. And it's all like, I would say, I thought a long time ago, I would said that it has to get worse before it gets better. But I don't think so now. I just think that it's going to be like this for the remaining 4 years. And then you got to deal with what happens with the next thing like Vance, Jay Vance or whatever. I hope he doesn't run. You know what I mean? I hope that the shit just comes crumbling down like we've been saying. I don't think that the Democrats are going to pull it together. There's no hope. And I'm really surprised that the white folk not really getting, not really being upset with what's going on, because they're the main recipients of motherfucking Medicaid and food stamps, housing, whatever. While this bitch is showing out, she ruined it for motherfuckers that need all these things. Like, we need housing. I need housing. I need my motherfucking housing. Like, I can't afford to lose that shit. Like, I like, yeah, okay, if I had to go outside, but I'm breaking into some shit. I'm not gonna live like I used to. B, it is robbing season. I will get it out. I motherfucking live. And that's never been a question. Never been a question. But with food and everything like that, this bitch still talk about she gonna run up her motherfucking car or whatever. It's wild and stupid as hell. She looks shabby as fuck, so she shouldn't be saying anything while she looked like that. She ruining it for people that actually depend on the system, depend on it. Like with them cutting everything or wanting to cut everything, it puts a lot of family, like for example, the airport, right? Puts family out of work. The furloughs, all this extra shit, it just does a lot. And so while this motherfucker over here thinking that she doing something with a motherfucking purse, shabby looking ass bra. You ain't doing shit, because if all else fails, if they take all your shit away, your bitch ass is gonna be selling them motherfucking purses.
Okay, now you're on the next topic.
Yeah, on the next topic. That shit pissed me off, man. That really made me mad. Her shit gone now. Yeah, see?
My thing is this.
I gotta do
if you're getting over,
like,
right?
I gotta do so many hoops and loops to get that shit. You know what I mean? Like, for example, i.e. me, right? My shit got shut off when I went to the hospital for the 4 surgeries, right? And I had to deal with a motherfucking Karen on the phone. This bitch vacuuming. She had a dog in the back.
Oh, they got rid of her shit.
Right? So the shit is like, there's so many hoops and loops I got to do to get my shit back, right? And it's fucked up. Black people got to do so much, whereas when the migrants were here, they didn't have to do a motherfucking thing to put their hand out. You know what I mean? And it's always like that. It's always going to be like that. So I find it that it's don't complain. Just get your motherfucking work done and mind your motherfucking business. Like, that's how I proceed with the shit. I'm getting my work done, get my shit back because I need it. You would think that I'm selling my motherfucking soul for like $240, okay, a month. That whole $240 a month covers what I can't take care of, because I'm in a food desert. I have no stores around me, really. Yeah. Everything. So because there's just a limited amount of grocers, they decide that everything goes up like $4. So it's a lot. So with this, like, when I just seen that shit, I'm like, man, somebody get your motherfucking person. You take that motherfucking phone away from them. Some people don't need to be doing lives and talking all that extra shit, because while they're doing that, motherfuckers are watching them. Yeah. And they can lose their shit. You know what I mean? They can lose their shit. Motherfuckers when they get hungry, cause they get envious, jealousy. Motherfuckers, they tell on you, whatever. Next thing you know, your motherfucking ass and you're fucking cheering. They're gonna be living in the motherfucking car. You know what I mean? And you're gonna be parked outside a motherfucking highway. So I would stop bragging, because that shit ain't even funny. This shit is not funny how much motherfucking paperwork and shit black people gotta do just to get anything in this fucking anything in the United States. Whether it be medical assistance, whether it be fucking food or anything like that. They gotta do so much so fucking much. You don't see, white people don't have these problems. They don't have these problems. They cut in line. They get to do whatever the fuck they want. They act like black. They don't see black people at all. I go through this shit on a regular basis. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go through it tomorrow again for the 4th fucking week in a row. But hopefully, I'll have some good luck. Either way, all we got to do is to fucking keep it pushing for us. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why motherfuckers feel the need to get online and act stupid like that. I bet you that shit is fucking fugazi like a motherfucker. Shabby looking ass broad with a motherfucking t-shirt on. Cause she gotta stop. She really gotta stop. I ain't never had no name brand nothing, and I'm better off for it. And even if that was the case, I wouldn't have nothing like that was worth more than my motherfucking rent. You know what I mean? At all. So I'm like, fuck that. Go ahead, just play that clip, man, please. So I get thoroughly irate. Wear a t-shirt this time.
Yeah.
Fresh little cut.
Check this out.
The truth is, y'all hating on me because I live rent free and I can afford the luxuries that y'all dream about for me and my kids. I'm going to continue to buy my luxury bags while the government pay my rent. I'm going to continue to go on trips and do the things that me and my kids love to do while y'all struggle to pay for a grocery bill and I'm swiping my EBT card.
Oh, okay. That's where do we go start? This is my thing. It's your attitude, sis. It's your attitude. You're getting on the internet and you're gloating that you're living rent free off of the government. And you're not the only one, because I know some of the folks may show up here and say, see, that's what we talking about. Hold on.
First of all,
y'all get way more food stamps, way more EBT, way more welfare, way more Section 8 than any black person. So don't y'all ever come on here talking like, oh, that's all they do. No, that's all you do. Now, you may not get on the video like her and brag about it, because you keep that real quiet. I give you that. You don't brag about it. You just keep it quiet, keep it in the tuck, and you just swipe your EBT and you get your Section 8 and you get welfare. You get it all. You just don't brag about it, okay? Now, let's get to the sister here. Look, sis, if you're getting it like that, why come on the internet and talk? That's been black folks' biggest problem. Y'all always been that way, even before the internet. When you get something, everybody gotta know you got it. Why you gotta talk about it? Bruh, sis, if you getting something, keep your mouth shut, keep it to yourself. Nobody needs to know what you got going on.
Right.
Now, because she got on the internet, people see her face. People may know her. Some people may be like, hey, food stamps and EBT, yeah, I know her. Yeah, I know how she living. And then blow your spot up. And if you got it fraudulently, that you can go to jail for that.
Prison.
On the federal level, state jail. I mean, it's food stamp fraud or welfare fraud. It's a crime. You understand what I'm saying? You taking trips. You doing all kind of things. Why tell that? So it sounds like you probably on a Carnival cruise too, right, sis? Enjoying yourself. Why you ain't gotta worry about paying for food, but people struggling. No, we gonna keep it on our community. You got brothers and sisters struggling to pay for their food in the grocery store, and you looking at us like, oh, y'all some suckers. I'm getting mine for free. You working and paying. That make even black folks want to turn you in, because, like you say, y'all so silly. Just like when y'all committing crimes, y'all get on the internet live streaming, committing crimes. Or if y'all stole somebody's chain, you get on live and show you got the chain, just giving the prosecutor evidence. I never get this video I saw a long time ago of a prosecutor, and that lady said we love the internet because she said that's so much evidence for us, because people literally will confess to crimes that we could never get them to confess to in interrogation. That's why they let y'all have the internet, because y'all confess to crimes. You remember them dudes that broke out of jail in New Orleans? Now they arrested all them people that helped them, but you know they caught one of them fools because he was on Instagram Live, and his homeboys said, yeah, man, he came home, he fresh out, man. He said, we celebrating. And the cops like, oh, he on live? We know where that's at. And they went and got his silly behind. I'm like,
why, baby? Why?
I know we used to have this show called The World's Dumbest Criminals. Y'all need to put that show back on, man. Because most of them shows probably gonna feature people going live on TikTok, going live on Instagram, just going live. Like, can y'all just do some pre-records? They don't know when y'all posted that. Like, if I'm a person that broke out, why would I be showing a location? Matter of fact, I wouldn't be on the internet at all.
I'm safe.
Man, forget that. If I'm trying not to be found, the last thing I want to do is be on the internet streaming from my account. And Instagram going to give the police your location where you pinging at. My Lord, man, y'all silly. Y'all can't. Yo, man, you know what? But check this out.
Stupid as hell, man.
I found it so much easier just to work, do things the right way. Don't be out here committing crimes against nobody. I just find life to be so much easier because you're doing all that scheming and scamming. Because that woman, that's scheming and scamming. Eventually, it catches up with you. When you're out here doing crimes, eventually they're gonna see you about it. And then you're gonna be sitting in that jail cell like, man, it was so stupid. I could have just went to work and paid for this. Oh, I could have went to work and not scam nobody. Or why did I go rob this person for their jewelry? I could have bought that jewelry on my own with a job, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. That's how y'all feel when y'all get caught. But when y'all doing it, y'all think that y'all never get caught. You gonna get caught, or you may get caught up with somebody, putting some bullets in you for doing something foul. That happens too.
Nowadays, motherfuckers just tally.
But to this sister here, I'm gonna say it. I hope they cut off everything you got because you don't deserve it.
Facts.
You don't deserve it. You can't sit up here and laugh at people working hard and struggling, but you sit there telling me you're gonna buy a luxury bag. Them bags not worth crap. They only worth $20. The Chinese people done told you behind that. They told you if you're gonna spend thousands of dollars at this point to go buy a handbag, these so-called designer bags, if you're spending that kind of money at this point, you silly. Because the Chinese done told you we make them over here. It's $20, $30. Get it from us. That's exactly what you should do. $20, $30.
Man, I'd never.
Shoot, forget that. That's the only way I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna get it from the Chinese if I wanted that bad. But yeah, you like my grandma say, you sure can tell nobody had nothing because you always run off at your mouth. And sure enough, people, oh man, some people stay off the internet, y'all. If you're doing dirt, just stay off the internet.
Do y'all remember last Friday, when I did a live stream on my channel, basically talking about or going over the meeting that Donald Trump had with the president of South Africa, and we were sitting there saying some of these things don't make any sense, and we was looking at the facial expressions of the president, and he was looking like he didn't believe any of it either, and he was like, I never seen any of these things before. Well, turns out that some of our hunches.
Right, man. Come on now.
All right, was that your final thoughts on old girl?
Pretty much, I'm with him, man. That broad just brought herself a whole bunch of bad juju. Yeah. Because God don't like ugly.
I said they took her stamps away.
So good. And look, man. On the back of them paperworks, when you sign up for that shit, it talks about fraud. It talks about prison time. It talks about your ass go to jail and pay fines and all kind of extra shit. And it's not worth it, you know what I mean? But for a broad like that to be on there with a motherfucking t-shirt she's been wiping her face on the inside with, looking all shabby and crazy and shit. Look, it ain't even like that, man. I hope you enjoy your little motherfucking stupid ass backpack. I hope it falls apart. Because while you over there doing all that, motherfuckers God don't like ugly. I don't like ugly and no boistering and bragging and shit and all that, especially when you are laughing at people that really are going through it and have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Have to live like that. Not everybody can be and look like an able-bodied broad too. Like, you know what I mean? Like a able-bodied broad that could go get a job or probably, do some with herself. She's not like that, like the most vulnerable. You know what I mean? Most vulnerable is motherfucking elderly, disabled, children, things like that. Stuff like that. Like that veterans, black people. Seriously. And for her being like that, you could tell. Like Uncle Phil said, "Bitch, you ain't never had nothing, huh? You ain't never had nothing, cause you just doing the most, and you gonna have to deal with that karma, because like I said, God don't like ugly. I don't like ugly, and of that purse fall apart on every seam, probably fugazi like a motherfucker, And who you showing out for? Like, if you got an EBT card, you can't be showing out for too many motherfuckers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad. I hope that I hope that she can't get nothing after that, and then she's gonna be wondering how she gonna feed herself or her children. But she said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to sell your ass like everybody else. If you're not already doing it. Carry on.
I'm gonna move us along to the next topic. And that topic is the dump, aka Trump, the dump as in human shit, aka Trump, stance on South Africa and Zambia has been debunked. So Tori and Raymond Lowe is going to give us an update on that.
Was correct. Even when one of my hunches, when I was saying, I bet you some of the stuff that Donald Trump is showing in these articles, I bet you none of this was in South Africa. Well, it turns out that that hunch was correct, but there was some other things that was debunked as well, and we're going to go over that right now. And I am recording this on May 24th, 2025. And this article I'm reading from is coming from Reuters. And the crazy part about it is, if I had known about this the day of my live stream, I could have had this in that live, because the article came out the day before on that Thursday. I just was unaware that that was the case. U.S. President Donald Trump showed a screenshot of Reuters video taken in the Democratic Republic of Congo as part of what he falsely presented on Wednesday as evidence of mass killings of white South Africans. That was one of the things that I had said. I said, I don't think that this is going on in South Africa. I said, I bet you that none of this is occurring in South Africa like he claims. It turns out this was happening in the Congo. So my assumption was correct on that one. He's quoted as saying, "These are all white farmers that are being buried," said Trump, holding up a printout art of an article accompanied by the picture during a contentious Oval Office meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. In fact, the video published by Reuters on February 3rd and subsequently verified by the news agency's fact-check team showed humanitarian workers lifting body bags in the Congolese city of Goma. The image was pulled from Reuters footage shot following deadly battles with Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. The blog post showed to Ramaphosa by Trump during the White House meeting was published by American Thinker, a conservative online magazine about conflict and racial tensions in South Africa and Congo. The post did not caption the image, but identified it as a, quote, YouTube screen grab with a link to a video news report about Congo on YouTube, which credited Reuters. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. Andrea Widberg, managing editor at American Thinker and the author of the post in question, wrote in reply to a Reuters query that Trump had, quote, misidentified the image. Well, that's not a good thing if he's holding up this image right here and he's claiming that these people are going through a genocide. To simply say that he misidentified the image is very disingenuous. She added, however, that the post, which referred to what it called Ramaphosa's dysfunctional race-obsessed Marxist government, had pointed out the increasing pressure placed on the white South Africans. The footage from which the picture was taken shows a mass burial following an M23 assault on Goma, filmed by Reuters journalist Jafar al-Kantanti. That day, it was extremely difficult for journalists to get in. I had to negotiate directly with M23 and coordinate with the ICRC to be allowed to film, al-Kantanti said. Only Reuters has video. Al-Kantanti said seeing Trump holding the article with the screen grab of his video came as a shock. In view of all of the world, President Trump used my image, used what I filmed in DRC, or the Democratic Republic of Congo, to try to convince President Ramaphosa that in his country, white people are being killed by black people. Ramaphosa visited Washington this week to try to mend ties with the United States after persistent criticism from Trump in recent months over South Africa's land laws, foreign policy, and alleged bad treatment of its white minority, which South Africa denies. Trump interrupted that televised meeting with Ramaphosa to play a video, which he said showed evidence of genocide of white farmers in South Africa. This conspiracy theory, which has circulated in far-right chat rooms for years, is based on false claims. Trump then proceeded to flip through printed copies that he said detailed murders of white South Africans, saying death, 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 horrible death. Furthermore, I went on to another website and got some more additional information as well. So we're going to go over that as well. It said President Donald Trump created quite the spectacle during Wednesday's Oval Office meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in his attempt to bolster his claim of a white genocide happening in the country. However, some of the evidence Trump presented has turned out to be false. Trump displayed numerous printed articles and played a nearly 5-minute-long video montage to reporters at the White House that he claimed proved that white Afrikaner farmers were the victims of a genocide in South Africa. Death, 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 Trump said as he held up one printed article after another after playing the video of what he claimed were burial sites of over 1,000 white farmers who were murdered by presumably black South Africans. However, factcheck.org has determined that the video actually showed a 2020 demonstration, not a burial site, to bring attention to the deaths of farmers of all races and not just white farmers. And remember, he basically made the claim that it was only white farmers that were being genocided out there. He kept saying that over and over again. If y'all saw the live, whether you saw it while we were live or in the playback, he kept emphasizing that. President Trump also displayed an image of what he claimed were body bags of white farmers who had been murdered in South Africa. However, Reuters reported that the image was of humanitarian workers burying bodies in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The outlet said the image was a screen grab of a Reuters video in February after deadly battles against Rwanda-backed rebels who had captured the city of Goma. Trump's insistence on a white genocide taking place in South Africa follows years of conspiracy theories from far-right fringe groups. It has been amplified by South African-born billionaire Elon Musk, surprise, surprise, who was a close advisor to the president and leads the White House Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. While crime in South Africa is high, data proves that most murder victims in the country, more than 26,000 in 2024, were actually black. As for farmers themselves, only 44 murders were linked to farmers. Only 7 of those murders were white. At the heart of the real conflict with farmers in South Africa is the disproportionate amount of land owned by white Afrikaner farmers as a result of the country's decades-long apartheid system, which segregated and disenfranchised black South Africans. Though they comprise only 7% of the population, they own 75% of the land. A law signed by President Cyril Ramaphosa in January intended to begin a legislative process to redress land inequality. It essentially allows the government to seize private land. President Trump has repeatedly pointed to the law as evidence of white farmers being targeted. However, the South African government has said no land has been seized. The government also said it instead tried to encourage white farmers to willingly sell their land, reports Reuters. Trump's fascination with pushing falsehoods about South Africa and the treatment of white farmers has been criticized by activists as an attempt to push a white grievance politics that mirrors Trump's anti-DEI policies in the United States. In a global context, Trump is seeking to fully normalize white exceptionalism and white grievance, which necessitates sullying and then destroying the beauty of Black resistance and Black excellence, which are like kryptonite in the face of radicalized version of whiteness. Joseph Tolton, a Pan-African activist and founder of Interconnected Justice, previously told the outlet. He continued, as a master race, he knows well that Black resistance and Black excellence must be fully eviscerated in order to realize Trump's global vision of the unbridled rule of whiteness. So there you have it. There's more additional information right there. Like I said, it was just nothing but a bunch of lies, and they ended up debunking every last one of them. And I could tell that they were, because it's like, even when I was in my chat and looking in the comments, people were telling me where those articles most likely came from. But like I said, I wish I would have known about this when I did the live last Friday, and I could have incorporated them in there. But you know what? We know about it now. But something just seemed kind of off when I was going through that. I'm like, where? Because even I asked in the live, where did those articles come from? Who are they? Because and when the president said, where's that from? I've never seen that before. That's because it wasn't in South Africa, which is, again, something that I had assumed. I said, I bet you that these images aren't even in South Africa. And they weren't. They were in the Congo, which is a whole nother country in Africa. So, but the thing is, he's already now ingrained into his supporters' minds that there's a genocide. And since most of them are on this Black fatigue, quote unquote, in this anti-white kick or this replacement, whatever, right now, they're going to eat up anything that he says, especially if it inflates and plays into their, I guess you could say, their insecurities or their ego. So right now, the lie has already traveled around so many times that that's what they're internalizing, that even when this comes out and has been debunked, they're still going to say, but still there's a genocide going on, even though there clearly isn't. Because you got to think, again, why would only 59 come over here? And you don't see the wealthy white South Africans leaving. Apparently, they're not having a problem. Even people over in South Africa are saying that there is no genocide. What is he talking about? But, you know, all they got to do is say one thing that disparages us and victimizes them, and they're prepared to take off and run with it and not look back, leaving the truth in the dust. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.
November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is
and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. When struggle songs scare presidents, then you know that the truth is louder than their lies. This week, in a surreal and frankly offensive moment in Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump used clips of South African opposition leader Julius Malema to support his long-standing and thoroughly debunked narrative of a so-called white genocide in South Africa. Now, he played videos from Parliament and EFF rallies waving inflammatory footage as though it were a courtroom exhibit, right? All in front of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who, to his credit, actually maintained composure. But let's be honest here, right? The spectacle was clearly a colonial theater at its most crude, if you ask.
Police said, hey, shoot! Come on, sir! The poor, the farmer, the poor, the farmer, the man of D.E.B. is a white man. So these people really want to hit them hard. Go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you attacked a white man. Not because Pachama and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. You are cutting the throat of whiteness in Ghana. No one saw. The people, the farmer, the people, the farmer.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites, over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Alliance. The poor, the farmer,
Now, Julius Malema, right, though not present on the day, was very much the elephant in the Oval Office. And as we know, he didn't stay silent for long. In a statement on social media, Malema dismissed Trump and his team as a group of older men in Washington gossiping about him, and rightly pointed out that no significant amount of intelligent evidence had been presented to support the absurd claims of genocide. And on this, I agree with him. Let's watch.
Comrades, we must defend our country against imperialism. The only organization that is hated by imperialists is the EFF. I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump. They were speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from us. If they are not scared of me, call me into that meeting. That nonsense that Trump did in America, he will never do that nonsense in my presence, because I will confront him here and there with the facts. Ramaphosa could not present the facts in front of Donald Trump. You've got a coward president, another president scared of another president. Donald Trump said to him, when you say farmers, you mean white people. He kept quiet. Farmers do not mean white people. They are black farmers, they are white farmers. Ramaphosa is a farmer himself. He should have said to Donald Trump, no, farmers are not white. I'm a farmer myself. I am not white. Why didn't he present that simple fact before Donald Trump? Why didn't he say there are so many people in South Africa and majority of them are blacks? There is no white genocide in South Africa. We don't have mass graves of white people in South Africa. Comrades, Donald Trump says to him, hey Ramaphosa, why are you not arresting this Julius Malema? Why is this Julius Malema not in jail? He can't respond with the simple fact that this song, the farmer, was approved by the Constitutional Court. We are a constitutional democracy. We must defend the decision. He failed to defend the Constitutional Court. By failing to defend the constitutional court, it means he failed to protect the Constitution. And when you failed to protect the Constitution as the president of the country, you have failed in your primary duty.
Now, for those of you who don't know, right, the chant the Boer is not a literal call to violence. It's actually a historical struggle song that was born in the trenches of apartheid resistance, which is actually a poetic and symbolic cry against a brutal and dehumanizing system that declared war on Black South Africans for nearly 5 decades. It was never, right, never used as a command to commit violence. It was, and still remains, a political and emotional anthem against oppression. However, Donald Trump and many in his ideological corner don't care for context, right? They don't want nuance, they want fear, if anything, and they want to weaponize our pain and history and to feed conspiracy theories and stir racial panic for political gain. We all know that. However, I will say this though, right? President Ramaphosa missed an opportunity. I do believe that he could have, or rather should have, explained what the Boer actually means. That it is not about murder, but it is about memory and about resistance and about never forgetting where we actually come from. Struggle songs like this are the soundtrack of our liberation. And they're not hate speech, but they are actually history. And in today's South Africa, with inequality still very much present, land justice still unresolved, and apartheid economic growth still haunting our streets, these songs are not only relevant, but they are very essential. Because you cannot ask us to sanitize our history for the comfort of former colonizers or their apologists. You cannot ask us to forget in order to be heard. And don't get me wrong, Julius Malema is no saint, and his statements often cause controversy. But on this matter, and on the legacy of the land, and on the right to sing our struggle, and on the rejection of whitewash revisionism, he is absolutely right.
The poor, the farmer.
Now, if anything, I say that the revolution was never a performance, but it was real. And it's songs, our songs, that will not be silenced or political theater. What are your thoughts on this? Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I really like to hear what you...
Fucking Donald Trump, man. Lying like that, lying on South Africa, lying on Julius Malema. And Julius Malema was right. If you had something to say, you should have fucking called him in there, and he would have answered it. Unlike the president, he would have answered everything, and he would have got in his face and told him exactly what it was. And there's some lying ass bullshit right there. If motherfuckers are doing all that to the Cro-Magnon Neanderthal, let me see, right? But they're not. I feel like this shame. Like he should be ashamed of himself. And what about the president? Like when that shit was going down, I was like, where's Elon? You know, she sure did fucking tuck tail high. He wasn't there for that. He should have been there for that. Since that's his countrymen that came over, you know, the fucking Dutch or whatever fucking damn colonizers. They gonna see it's not sweet over here. So yeah, I like Julius Malema. I like him. I've always liked him. President, though, you didn't protect your country, man. You didn't defend your country well. You should do better. You should do better. That's why you sit in them seats. But it's okay. It's okay. Julius defended the country of South Africa. He defended it. He stood up for them. And that's all that matters, I guess. You gotta have somebody doing it, doing all the fucking heavy duty lifting. Shame on Trump, man, lying like that. But did you see all the black people that were in there? There was like a couple right by the TV screen. They knew that was some motherfucking bullshit, and they looked angry and mad too. You know, it's hard to try to hold your face and try to smile in the face of fucking stupidity. But they looked upset. They looked really upset. He did not protect his country. He did not defend his country well. So he tried to be polite. There's no such thing as being polite when you come to the White House now. The White House is contentious, so just go with that contentious energy. Especially if you want to defend some shit. Oh, fucking Afrocanas or whatever. Ugh. 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 Lying like that. Like, oh, man, a special place in hell for lying like that. Hold on a sec. Hey, how far do I go on topic list? Because we're not going to do that. So what? I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. So you want to end it? Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching Front Line Blacc News. I'm your co-host, Seduction Doll. We're gonna go ahead and end it right here because Jesse fell asleep. But we got more topics for tomorrow. Join us for part 3, I believe, of Frontline Blacc News. And also Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced comes back on Tuesday at so be sure to enjoy that. And I will be doing an RVA because I got to catch y'all up on the Diddy trial. Man, there was it was so close to a mistrial, he could have probably tasted it. But it's getting kind of heavy. So I got to catch y'all up on that and a couple other things. And so thank you for everybody for watching. Thank you, Jay, for coming. Thank you, Mac, Twin, Leonard, and everybody who's watching, peeping, and not saying nothing. We're gonna go ahead and cut it off right here, and join us tomorrow for part 3. Part 3?
Yes.
Part 3 of Frontline Blacc News. Jesse's gonna go. Just say goodbye. Yeah, stay black, stay dangerous, stay favored and blessed. Keep your head on a swivel. And don't let no stay away from the moth brands, man. We gotta just keep minding our own fucking black business, doing our own thing right now. And if you see some stupidity, stay away from it. Just stay away from it. Yeah. And yeah, it's coming from the second Black House, or the new Black House. So he gave me the mic and took the camera off. So yeah, everybody stay black, stay dangerous, stay favored, and we'll see you tomorrow for Frontline Blacc News, part 3. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Tuesday. The RVA will probably be in between. Sometime, if I can get things done, it might be tomorrow afternoon before Frontline Blacc News, or maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I gotta do it from over here. Yeah, so thank you all. Stay up. Okay. Let's see. sharing it. Kind of been a minute. Oops. Yeah, B1. I'll just put the flag up, huh? Cool. All right. B1, stay black.